Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Phoebe, aka Barbie, and today we are back with the continuation of Mile High by Liz Tomforde from the Windy City series. Shout out to the girlies who commented on my last video with really positive feedback. It means a lot, and yeah, thank you for being nice and liking this new video idea concept that I have. I'm not gonna babble on too much, I'm gonna get right into it because we left not on a cliffhanger, but we left with Stevie and Xander's making very intense eye contact from across the bar, and I feel like something's gonna go down.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Anyway, I don't know how many chapters we're going to read. I'll insert it here because I'll know at that point. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Ooh, crap. Why is it actually hot? It's gonna get steamy, guys. Okay. Chapter 11. Xander's. You're buying all my drinks tonight, Madison reminds me as we grab a table in the back of an overly crowded bar across the street from Nashville's arena. Deal, I keep my head down, and Madison keeps his hat pulled low, both of us trying to fly under the radar. Rio, you're buying tonight, I call out to my younger teammate. Madison shakes his head at me with a low chuckle. Again, Rio whines over the live band filling the bar with country music. But I always buy, I'm not even a rookie anymore. You're still the rookie until we find a new one we like. He takes off towards the bar without another word. Madison's thumbs are moving a mile a minute, texting someone on his phone. Logan, I ask with assumption. Yeah, he lets out a content and happy sigh. I love him. I can't even give my best friendship for... Oh my god, if anybody watched my last video, I struggled to say curse words, but I just did. Well done, Phoebe. For being completely... for being completely vajayjay whipped by his wife. Honestly, I'm just happy I got him out of his hotel room for once. He's my closest friend, but I've never been able to relate to him in only wanting to sleep with one woman for the rest of my life, let alone spend every waking moment thinking about someone the way Madison does Logan. He dreads life on the road and loves being home, whereas I have no reason to look forward to home other than his family. I look forward to a different city each night. Rio quickly comes back, his hands full, the necks of beer bottles laced between each of his fingers. A hot little redhead follows right behind him, her hands full to the brim with shots. No, Madison quickly interjects, turning to Rio. No shots, we play in less than 24 hours. Don't look at me, Captain, Rio says. These generous women at the bar brought us around, wanted to wish us good luck tomorrow. I look over Madison's shoulder to the two girls sitting at the bar top, both hot as hell, as they hold a couple of shot glasses up to us in cheers. One won't hurt, I grab a shot glass filled with clear liquid. The chick with copper strands rests her elbows on her high top, sticking her boobies out as she leans in closer to Madison. I'll drink both of ours, I don't mind, she seductively offers with a wink. Madison, Rio and I burst into laughter as the redhead furrows her brows in confusion. I get that there are athletes out there who don't give a poop if they're married or not. They'll sleep around on their partners, especially on the road. Madison is not that athlete. The guy's got his ring finger tattooed with his girl's initials, for Christ's sakes. The guy's got his ring finger tattooed with his girl's initials. Where the heck was I? That's not going to get you anywhere, I tell the sexy ginger, referring to her hitting on my best friend. You may as well turn your attention over here. Her focus... Oh my god, I can't read. Her focus zeroes in on me quicker than you'd believe as we connect our shot glasses and throw back the tequilas simultaneously. Another, she asks, batting her eyelashes. I glance up at Madison, who is clearly uncomfortable. I promised him a boys' night, at least starting out. Besides, he won't last long before he decides to sneak back to the hotel and call his wife. Maybe I'll work on expanding my Nashville roster once he goes. Not tonight, I tell her, referring to more than just another drink. I'm Rio, my teammate bursts, finding an opening to get a little attention. Rio, I like that name. Me too. She nods towards the bar for him to follow her back to her friends. My teammate quickly stands from his seat, his green eyes shining with excitement. Have I taught him nothing? I asked Madison, watching Rio behind his shoulder, looking thirsty as fudge and not for more alcohol. We don't chase women, women chase us. You don't chase women, women chase you, he corrects with a laugh. Don't lump me in with your bull poop. Fair. A couple of petite blondes take the table directly next to us, trying to make eye contact as they sit. Madison doesn't notice, but my gaze drags up and down the both of them. They're cute, but their fake tan is leaning dangerously close to Oompa-Loompa status, and the desperation for attention radiates off them. I quickly avert my focus back to my table, uninterested in either of them. What's the plan for our delayed Halloween? Has Ella decided what we're going to be yet? An amused smile forms on Madison's lips. Yep. And? I don't know if anything will compare to last year when 2-year-old Ella Jo decided she was going to be the Hulk for Halloween, and therefore our crew took on the rest of the Marvel characters as we walked our block in Chicago. It was quite the sight for our neighbours to see my little niece decked out in green paint with her parents and 3 uncles dressed to the nines right along with her. I'm pretty sure it's as fun for us as it is for Ella to go all out as much as we do. It's been our tradition since she was born to coordinate in group costumes. Even when we miss Halloween because of road games like this year, we make sure to make it up sometime in November. She's going to be Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Oh hell yes, I call dibs on being the Beast. Madison shakes his head to tell me no. What? I have to be the effing teacup or something. Ella says she doesn't want to do Beauty and the Beast. Apparently the theme this year is Disney princesses. I almost choke on my beer and Madison's laugh is deep and full. Fine, I resign, knowing I'll do anything for my favourite 3.5-year-old. I call dibs on the Little Mermaid then. Have you met my kid? Madison asked rhetorically. She's already assigned all of us, and if you think my wife with red ass hair is going to let you be Ariel, you're mistaken. I can't help but laugh, and not only because it's going to be effing hilarious to see us all dressed up like a bunch of princesses roaming the streets of Chicago on Halloween, but because we're having this conversation in the middle of a crowded bar in Nashville, surrounded by women who would love nothing more than our attention. However, all we can talk about is my best friend's spunky daughter, who we'd all do just about anything to make happy. You see, this is what's annoying me about Xander's, is he clearly is soft and kind at heart and isn't actually a douche, and like thinks all these thoughts. I just wish he'd like let that out and show that he is a nice person and clearly like a family orientated man. Like, I would like you a lot more if you just did that. So who am I? You, my friend, are Elsa. Elsa, I interject. F frozen. The little misspoke. Madison puts his hands up. She makes the rules. I shake my head in disappointment. Effing Elsa. Little Edge is killing me. EJ. Little Edge? Little Edge. Little EJ. Also, I realised in the last one, I kept on calling Eli Ellie. Look, I'm not perfect. Anyway. Little EJ is killing me. I'm going to have a conversation with my niece about that one. Pulling my beer to my lips, my eyes immediately get drawn to the chestnut curls bouncing around by the bar. I'd recognise them anywhere. In fact, I thought about the owner of that mane far too often this week. How does this keep happening? It's like the universe wants to test me. Stevie seems overwhelmed at the bar as she orders herself a drink. Is she by herself again? I press my booty into my seat, willing myself to stay put. But all I want to do is go over there, buy her a drink and maybe mess with her a bit. I like seeing her get flustered, though lately she seems to be the one flustering me. Madison's gaze follows mine as he turns to see who it is that holds my attention. Are you effing kidding me? He asks. Did you tell her to meet you here? See, what the hell are you doing, man? I didn't tell her poop. This keeps happening. It's like the universe is begging me to F her. You're an idiot. I'm kidding. Sort of. But she's kind of hot, right? We aren't talking about this, Madison shakes his head. She works for us. Deciding to stay silent on that one, I keep my stare on the flight attendant across the room. Would it really be the worst thing in the world if we hooked up? I mean, it'd just be one time, to get it out of our systems. Our systems? Like you and her? Madison laughs, condescendingly. You mean your system? Last I checked, she's not a fan of yours whatsoever. Oh my god, I love that he said that. Because why do... Sorry to pigeonhole guys as just like one sort of thing, but why do mostly men, if they like find a girl attractive or something, they suddenly start talking as if the girl is just going to also like them back and like go up to them and just expect that, oh, because I like you, you're obviously going to like me. That's not how it works. Now I know for the purpose of this book, Stevie does like him. I like him. But Madison's really doing it for me. He is the perfect man. Everyone is a fan of me. Madison peeks over his shoulder to the bar, then back to me, shaking his head. You do you, man, but that girl is going to be on our plane all year. You're going to F her and never think about her again, and she's going to fall for you like they all do. But the difference is this time you're going to have to see her on the plane after every single road game. Oh God, I hope I don't start this fiasco again. I kind of like the way that sounds, seeing her after every game. Attempting to hide my smile, I bring my bottle back to my lips and take a swig. Finally, Stevie's blue-green eyes meets mine. You following me? I silently mouth across the bar to her. You're so effed. Madison quietly reminds me. Stevie quickly averts her attention away from me, and it takes everything in my body to stay seated and not go over to her. She keeps her head down as she makes her way through the crowd, her hands full with 3 drinks. She's either extremely thirsty or she's not alone tonight. Oh yes, she's with her 2 mean girl friends. As soon as she walks around the bar top, my do-do-do comes to attention, waking up real quick. Okay. She looks incredible tonight. Tight little skirt pulled taut around her booty. Her legs are naturally bronzed, her thighs are thick, and those heels she's got on add a few inches to her stature. Glad she took my advice about showing off her body. She's a effing smoke show, and I don't think she has any idea. My mouth gapes as she walks my way, partly in shock that she's willingly coming over to me, and partially in awe of how sexy she looks tonight. Her little outfit is vastly different than the sweats I saw her in last week. These clothes show off every dip and curve in her body. But she doesn't come to me. Instead, she keeps her focus anywhere but me and stops short at the table next to us with the 2 desperate girls. Oh, so they're the desperate blondes who haven't pulled their attention away from our table. She quickly turns to her blonde friends, pretending as if she has no idea who I am. Setting the drinks on the table, she takes a seat facing away from me, and instantly, like a magnet being pulled, I stand from my chair. Leave her alone, Madison quickly scolds. If she wants to talk to you, she would have come over here. Fudge, he's right. I retake my seat. When did I become such a desperate mother effer? Mother fudger. Mother trudger. Mother carrier. But also, why doesn't she want to talk to me? He's so full of himself. Just being honest here, I've never had someone refuse my attention, and now that I know my intentions, I think the chase is making me want to sleep with Stevie even more. I tried to focus on my conversation with my best friend as we both nurse the beers in our hands, but I'm having a hard time. It's as if I have selective hearing tonight and all I can focus on is the flight attendant to my left and her 2 friends, if you want to call them that. Over the last 30 minutes, all I've heard is them cutting Stevie down. She might not notice that these girls are not her real friends, but it's pretty evident to me. They've mentioned her hair being all over the place, which I must say in 10 times more amazing than either of their stringy bleached strands. Look, I'll take the hit. They're underhandedly made comments about her body, which makes me real sensitive about that topic for her after Stevie got upset last week. Her body is ridiculous in the best way possible. It's thick and curvy, and yeah, there's a bit more to hold on to, but that's definitely not a bad thing. At one point, when one of them comments about wanting another drink and Stevie needing to be the one to grab it, my eyes dart over in a scowl, unable to hide my annoyance. Blondie number 1 takes my eye contact to some sort of open door instead of the shut the F up eyes I was trying to make. Those guys are on the team you work for, right? She asked Stevie. Oh wait. Those guys are on the team you work for, right? She asked Stevie, keeping her eyes on me. I looked away from her, but I could feel her stare. Introduce us! No, Stevie says in a hush, though since she's all I'm focused on right now, I can hear her perfectly clear. I mean, yes, they're on the team, but leave them alone. They don't want us bothering them. I wouldn't mind Stevie bothering me. You mean they probably don't even realize you work for them? Do they even know your name? The 2 blondes burst into grossly high-pitched cackles. These girls are brutally mean, and I have no idea why the hell Stevie would hang out with them. Probably not, she says, though I know she realises that's a lie. I've called her Stevie's sweetheart more times than I could count. It's strange seeing this side of her, the side where she won't stand up for herself, because in the time I've known her, she's had no problem putting me in my place. Without thinking about it any longer, I stand from my seat, finally fed up with these girls for Stevie's sake. But still, I need to play it cool, or as cool as I can. I really feel like I've lost some of my effing game this week. I casually turn towards the restroom, even though I don't need to use it. As I walk by Stevie's table, I gently run my hand over her shoulders, tracing my touch across the back of her exposed neck. I brush my fingertips against the goosebumps, peppering her skin before giving her a light squeeze. fudge, her skin is soft. Hey Stevie girl, I toss over my shoulder as I walk by, my lips lifting on one side. Good to see you. So much snot. I turn to face her, slowly walking backwards to the restroom, my smirk all charm as I keep my focus on her pretty freckled face. She runs a hand up her neck exactly where I touched her as her cheeks turn a rosy shade of pink. I spot the look of surprise and confusion on her friends' faces. Fully satisfied, I turn back and walk down the hall towards the bathroom. As I'm waiting in this ridiculously long line for the bathroom that I don't even need to use, my phone vibrates in my pocket. Madison, you're so fudged. He's not wrong. Madison, I figured that was my cue to go. Tab is closed. See you tomorrow. Bye, Madison. Even though I don't need to pee, I do so anyway. I can't exactly turn around right away and head back to my table. My not-so-stealth cover would be blown. On my way out, I keep my head low, hoping to go unrecognised as I pass by a trio of dudes dressed like dumbass cowboys. And I'm not talking about authentic cowboys. I'm talking about I'm in the South for the first time in my life, so I bought a pair of cowboy boots, cowboys. I call dibs on sparkly dress, one of them says, nodding towards Stevie's table. I get the other blonde, another chimes in. F that, the third one argues, you're not leaving me with the big girl. I literally have nothing to say. It takes everything in me not to turn around and punch this effer in the face. I know he did not just talk about her that way. He doesn't know poop about her. Well, I don't really either, but I do know she's 10 times sexier than either of her desperate friends. And she's got the attitude to back it up. Why wouldn't he want her? Obviously, he's got a tiny doo-doo. It's the only explanation. If he can't handle a woman's body, he may as well say that instead of cutting her down to make himself feel better. Oh fudge, I'm so fudged. It's decided. I need to sleep with her before my balls turn the deepest shade of blue. The threesome of frat bros takes off towards Stevie's table before I have the chance to. Madison is long gone by the time I make it back to my seat, and Rio is still batting his eyelashes at the girls at the bar. My beer is empty and I'm not going to drink another the night before a game, but I can't get myself to leave while Stevie's here surrounded by 5 of the poopiest people on the planet. Trying to be sly but surely failing at it, I keep my selective hearing locked on the table next to mine, peering over every once in a while. Stevie's 2 friends are entirely entranced by frat bro Chad and frat bro Brad, while leaving her to the biggest a-hole of them all. He's clearly uninterested and not even trying to be subtle about the fact that he got stuck with her, as he sits a good 2 feet away and refuses to make eye contact, even when she's speaking. Ugh. I effing hate this for her. I'd hate this for anyone. I also hate the way I can't stay put. Standing from my table, I go right over to hers. Holy poop, you're Evan Sanders, the one who refuses to give Stevie the time of day announces. Can I get an autograph? I pause for a moment, letting him get his hopes up. No. Looking down at the curly-haired girl next to me, I push her locks away from her face, and without thinking, I lift her chin to look at me. My tatted hand surrounds her cheek as I rub my thumb against the flushed and freckled skin. Stevie's piercing eyes are blazing into me with confusion as her mouth gapes open. Not that I blame her, I don't even know what I'm doing. Ready to go, I ask, my eyes locked and focused on her blue-green ones. She doesn't answer, she just sits there in a surprised daze as the 5 onlookers share the same shocked expression. Thanks for keeping her company, I tell the group as I lace my hand with Stevie's, ushering her to stand and follow me out. They might not note the sarcasm in my voice, but I sure as hell do. She drags behind me, still in a confused trance, so I wrap my arm around her shoulders and pull her body into mine, essentially guiding her outside. I can feel the group's eyes on our backs, so I lean down and kiss the top of Stevie's head to really sell the act. I've never kissed a chick's head before, and I'm not going to lie. It felt kind of weird. Okay, I mean, if I was anybody in that group seeing that happen, I would be very confused as well. It is kind of like weird because he's sort of like sat at the table and obviously like she works for him, but then he's like, he walked past and like gave her a squeeze and was like, hey, and then he walks by the table, doesn't say anything, and then he just walks back up to her again and goes, hey, let's go. I would be kind of confused. It is weird, but then I guess it's sort of showing that he's a bit awkward and weird now because he clearly is attracted to her and likes her, but he doesn't know what he's doing and he doesn't know why he's stepping in and wants to protect her, but he is. So I'm going to see his actions as cute and endearing right now. Chapter 12. Stevie. What? I stumble, still in a confused stupor? I don't know. What are you doing? I pull my body away from Xander's once we make it outside the bar. Part of me liked the weight of his arm on my shoulder, but most of me is beyond confused as to what is going on. Sanders seems almost as stunned as I am by his little public display as he stands frozen right in front of the busiest bar on the main street in Nashville. The buzz of live music echoes from every honky-tonk on the street. Holy poop, it's Ez, someone yells, pulling out their phone and snapping a picture of the star hockey player. Xander's, more pictures, more flashes. Fudge. Xander's mutters under his breath, dipping his head down, trying to hide a bit. Is this your newest, a random onlooker ass? My head snaps in his direction when I realise he's referring to me. She doesn't look like your usual type. This is annoying me. My eyes widen at the statement as my body warms, embarrassment flushing me. I can feel the weight of a dozen sets of eyes on me, not to mention the endless flashes of camera phones. Oopsie. As quickly as possible, I turn in the opposite direction and run, needing to get away from this scene. She did not just run. Stevie, wait! Sanders calls out, chasing me down. And because he's tall as fudge and his legs are practically tree trunks of muscle, he catches up to me in no time. Stevie, he says again, gently pulling my arm back to follow him down a dark alley behind the bar. Come here. Poop. Stop running away from me all the time. I yank my arm from his grasp. Let's start again. I yank my arm from his grasp, entirely flustered by this whole situation. Can you not say my name out loud while all your friends are taking pictures? I don't want to be plastered online next to all your putt bunnies. Realisation hits me as I turn away from him, pushing my hair away from my face. Oh, poop. I'm so screwed. I'm so screwed. I'm going to get fired. What are you talking about? Xander's asks. I can't be seen with you. I motion towards his stunning body that's barely outlined thanks to the small light hanging off the building above his head. I'm going to get fired. I begin to frantically pace the small alley, afraid to go back on the main strip, worried his eager fans will be there, ready to take even more pictures. Stevie chills and just pulls my hand away from my hair as the cold metal of his gold rings stops my flushed hands. Why would you get fired? Those pictures, I blurt out. I can't be seen with anyone on the team. I'll lose my job if I'm caught fraternising. My tone comes out frantic, the words stringing together. Wait, really? Xander's face is covered in surprise and maybe a little bit of disappointment. Yeah, you can't hang out with us. No, oh God, no. Concealing my face with my hands, regret floods me as I continue to pace the narrow alley. I should have never come out tonight. The whole evening has been terrible since Hannah and Jackie showed up at my hotel. Neither of them gave a poop that I was with them. They just wanted to use me as an in with the people I work for. The guy wearing those cowboy boots that I could tell he purchased today couldn't even treat me like a human. I was in no way, shape or form attracted to him, but I was trying to be friendly by holding a conversation, though it was clear he didn't want to be stuck with me. And now those pictures. Oh God, those pictures. Looking up, I find Sanders frantically texting away on his phone. What are you doing? I'm handling it. Handling what? Those pictures. He puts his phone back in his pocket. My PR team is on it. Anything that makes it online will be taken down just as quickly. They can do that. I paid them a lot of money to do poop like that. So yes, it's taken care of. Taking a deep breath, my shoulders drop in relief. Thank you. The last thing I want is to be associated with Xander's reputation by people thinking I'm another one of his random hookups, but more than that, I can't lose my job. It's not even because it's something I love doing or feel passionate about, but because it's flexible schedule. I get to spend any time I'm home doing what I'm passionate about, and that's spending all my free time at the dog shelter. I can't think of too many other jobs where I can be home and off work for weeks at a time. What happened to the whole you never lie thing? I ask out of nowhere, still utterly confused and completely flustered by what just happened. Whatever that was in there seemed like a lie to me. I motion towards the bar. Xander shrugs. Sometimes a small white lie is necessary to get what I want. Get what you want? Yes, get what I want. And what I wanted was to get you away from those people. They're not your friends, if that's what you thought. I know they're not. I have a hard time explaining that I have a hard time making genuine friends because most everyone I meet wants to use me to get close to my brother would involve me telling Xanders who my brother is, and I don't want him to know yet. Never mind. Xander stays quiet, allowing me to continue if I want, but instead I furrow my eyebrows in confusion, my eyes narrowing into slits as I stare at the beautiful specimen in front of me. Why are you being nice to me? Sanders pops his shoulders, shyly looking away from me, which seems new. This guy doesn't have a shy bone in his body. Last I checked, you've been trying to make my job miserable all season, and we can't stand each other, I continue. So why look out for me? That bit of shyness instantly shifts as Xander's hazels dart to mine, full of hunger. You think I can't stand you? He takes 2 leisurely strides towards me, as if he was stalking his prey. If I can't stand you, why can't I stop pushing that damn call light on the plane, knowing you'll show up right to my seat? Because you're hell-bent on making my job a living nightmare. If I can't stand you, he takes another step forward, closing in on the gap between us. Then why can't I get you out of my head? Why can't I start wondering what you might taste like? His eyes fall to my lips. Said lips part to say something, but words have evaded me. If I can't stand you, Xander's inches forward, leaving absolutely no room between our bodies, his large frame overpowering me. Then why has my only thought of every minute of every day for the last week been me wondering what it would feel like to you? He stands over me, his eyes darting between mine, trying to read me, but I have no idea what I'm thinking right now. I really want to. Sweetheart, he softly adds. Oh, that's nice. My mind floods with disbelief, but at the same time, a jolt of genuine confidence runs through me, as it should, Queen. This guy, who every girl in North America would probably throw themselves at, is choosing me. Sure, he's choosing me simply for one night, but still, I didn't expect that. Regardless, I'm not losing my job over an athlete who will forget I exist as soon as it's over. Well, I can't stand you, I say in hopes it'll help me put the boundaries back up. Instead, a deep chuckle comes from his smirking lips. Before he bites down on the bottom one. I don't believe you. His thumb traces my cheekbone, but even though his touch ignites my entire body with warmth, I don't take back my statement. Besides, he continues, let's say that is true and you can't stand me. Hate sex is the best sex anyway. I keep my focus glued to the gold chain around his neck, knowing I can't look him in the eye. Behind the shiny metal, the black swirls of his tattoos blend with the deep shade of his skin. It's also perfectly distracting. What do you say, Stevie? Xander lifts my chin with a single finger, pulling my distracted gaze back to him. One wild night. I don't know what's gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen yet. His lips are lifted into a sinister smirk. A devil's promise in his eyes. Do I want to? Hell yes. Should I? Absolutely not. His reputation is the first red flag, reminding me of the promise I made to myself that I'd never hook up with an athlete again. They are bombarded by groupies, jersey chasers, just hoping for their turn. But God, you can't bet he knows exactly what to do, and nobody has perfectly gotten me off in a while. Sure, there's the purple toy back in my hotel room, but imagine the real thing. I want to say yes. My Fafufa wants me to say yes. Say yes, Stevie. It's only one time. No, my brain speaks for me. I'm good. Followed by a condescending pat on his chest as I take a step back and away from him. Stronger than me, Queen. There's no genuine confidence in what I'm saying or doing right now. It's all an act because I'm freaking the fudge out. Xander's lips tilt in an amused grin. He raises his chin slightly as his mischievous-filled eyes stare down at me, and I'm pretty sure me saying no is precisely what he expected. He likes that I don't give in to him, but I'm starting to like it less and less. Open offer, he says, taking a step back and casually tucking his hands into his pockets. You just let me know when you're ready to give in. Never sounds good. Never is what my brain wants me to say. How about never? Never, he repeats, brows lifting as he tests me. I swallow. So he takes slow, commanding steps towards me once again, but this time I retreat at the same pace until my back hits the brick wall of the bar behind me, his muscular body pinning me to it. You never want me to kiss you. His lips are lingering just above mine, and I can almost feel their softness and warmth from here. Contemplating for a moment, my eyes dart to his lips as he sweeps the bottom one, wetting it with his tongue. I continue to be mesmerised by the movement as I shyly shake my head to tell him no. Well, that's a bold-faced lie, Stevie. My heavy breathing and rapidly rising chest are vastly contradictory to the slow, steady inhales and exhales flowing through Xander's body. Though we're pressed together so tightly, you might not know where I stop and he starts if it weren't for our entirely different pace and breaths. His body is large and commanding, suffocating in the most delicious way. There's a firm pressure resting right above the apex of my eyes, causing my entire body to ache, finally feeling what I've only been lucky enough to see. He tucks my curls away from my face, the pad of his broad thumb gently trails the shell of my ear, ghosting over my endless gold earrings as an unwelcome shiver of need runs up my spine. And you never want me to touch you, he softly asks. My mouth falls open, needing to fill my lungs with oxygen. I need to stop acting it out. that this outdoor alley is currently depleted of any. Touch me. I want him to touch every inch of me, but if my body's current reaction to feeling him with his clothes on is any indication, I don't think I could handle his bare touch. No, I whispered the lie, though the crack in my voice conveys the exact opposite of my words. Xander's lips slightly lift in amusement, but he recovers quickly. He removes his fingers from my ear and neck, placing them in his pockets. Okay, sweetheart. He takes a step back from me, giving me room and doing exactly as my words said, even though I didn't mean them. And now my body aches for the pressure he left empty. But when you decide to stop lying to yourself, you're going to have to beg me to love you. I stay silent, completely frozen in this moment. On your knees? On your knees? He adds, his gaze trailing every inch of my body. His attention lingers slightly longer on my mouth, his statement referring to it. He takes another step back from me, the tension easing in the air. Xander takes a deep breath, ultimately shifting from the devil-dripping insects to a perfect gentleman as he holds his arm out for mine to loop around. Now let me walk you back to your hotel. I cautiously eye him with distrust. He playfully rolls his eyes. I'll stay a good block away from the front door so your co-workers don't see me. That's not what my pointed glance meant, but let's add fraternization to the list of why Xander's walking me back to my hotel is a bad idea. I just want to make sure you get home okay. His soft smile is sweet and genuine, so I loop my arm around his, allowing him to guide us back to my hotel. He takes quite a few back streets and alleys, which he says is to avoid any fans, though I do note it adds a good 20 minutes onto our walk together, because he wants to spend more time with you. And the whole time my body burns with a need I've never felt before. Xander stays across the street as I walk into the lobby of my hotel. As I open the door, I glance back over my shoulder at him. His 6'5" frame is commanding in his tailored-to-fit outfit, and his posture is stiff as he watches me. I offer him a small wave before dipping into the hotel and refusing to look back at him, worried I'll change my mind about tonight. When my head hits my pillow, I can't help but ask myself, what the fudge just happened? Chapter 13. Stevie, did you have fun last night? Indy asked before inhaling her plate of vegetarian biscuits and gravy. I hesitate. It was definitely interesting, I'll say that. I match her massive bite, filling my mouth with all the carbs I can manage from my favourite local spot in my hometown. Every item on the brunch menu is to die for, and it's a must anytime I'm back in Nashville. I'm sure I'll be regretting this meal when I'm visiting with my mother in a few hours and have to unbutton my jeans in order to sit down and breathe, but it'll be worth it. What was interesting about it? Let me think. Maybe that Evan Xander's walking sex ad told me he wants to... Right after he saved me from my inconsiderate high school friends who haven't stopped blowing me up since his little PDA stunt last night. Or maybe how he pinned me to a wall with his massive body, in his pants, doing all sorts of things to me when it was pressed against the apex of my thighs. Or how all of a sudden this sweet side came out of the self-proclaimed bad boy of Chicago when he insisted on walking me back to my hotel. Interesting might not be the right word for last night. Confusing, thrilling, shocking. I would love to spill all the details to Indy, seeing as I've been a ball of emotion since, but we're co-workers, and the accidental interaction Xanders and I had last night is a fireable offence. Seeing my old high school friends was interesting. They're not the nicest, and I think last night was the closure I needed on our friendship. Really? Indy uses her napkin to wipe the edges of her lips. That sucks, Stevie. You don't deserve friends like that. All good, I shrug it off, because it is all good. I've needed to cut ties with Hannah and Jackie for a while, and their blatant comments that they assumed were backhanded were my final straw. In the back of my mind, I always knew they kept me around as a connection to my brother. I just didn't expect it to continue in a different capacity because of my new job. Brian would be pissed if he knew about it, which is precisely why I'll keep that to myself, as I do most things my brothers would get upset over. How was your night? I ask. It was pretty uneventful. I wanted to go out, but I'm still new to this whole private charter thing, and I'm not going to lie, that speech Tara gave us about fraternization was terrifying. I figured locking myself in my hotel room was a safe bet. My stomach drops at the thought of Tara's constant warning and badgering about staying away from the clients when we're off the clock. Clearly, I'm not doing a great job of that, no matter how accidental my run-ins with Xanders have been. Do you happen to know what Tara did last night? I cautiously ask, looking down at my plate and nervously pushing my food around. What if she was out last night? What if she saw me last night? What if she saw us last night? This morning, I scoured the internet for any sign of a leaked photo of Xanders and me outside the bar, but this PR team certainly did their jobs, cleaning up any possible evidence of our interaction. Probably doing the exact thing she told us not to do. I'd bet money she was running around looking for the guys from the team last night, acting desperate as hell. My eyes dart out from my plate, amusement sweeping across my features as I look at Indy's wide eyes and gaping mouth. Oh fudge, she quickly slaps her palm over her mouth. Did I say that out loud? A moment of silence falls between us as we look to each other, testing the waters, unsure of where we stand on the topic of our co-worker, until finally I double over on my side on the booth, laughing my booty off. Eventually Indy joins in, both of us silent due to how hard we are cracking up right now. She's such a hypocrite. I will wipe away the tear that's pulled at the corner of my eye. Oh my god, Indy sighs in relief. I'm so glad we're on the same page, because I wanted to ask you for weeks. Oh, that is like such a good moment when you're with like a new person that you're kind of like hanging out with and getting along with, and they are your friend, and knowing that you sort of like have the same opinion on somebody and you can cross that line. She's worried about us fraternising with the players, but she's so thirsty when she's in the aisles talking to them, doing the exact thing she told us not to. I smile, thoroughly enjoying the boost of serotonin from that laugh attack. But regardless, it's not worth the risk of losing our jobs. Is it not? Indy questions, cocking her head to the side. I think I might put my job on the line for a night in the South with one of those hockey boys. I eye her for a moment, wondering if she knows something I'm not ready for her to know yet, or maybe ever. Figuratively, of course, she points to herself. Loving boyfriend and all that, of course. Indy has made it clear over the past few weeks how she's in it for the long haul with her living boyfriend, Alex. She'll constantly joke about the temperature rising when the hockey boy starts stripping on the airplane, or how she'd risk her job for a single night with one of them. But from what I know of her relationship, she loves Alex way too much to risk him. But if I were single and a certain alternate captain for a certain hockey team from Chicago who just happened to ooze sex appeal, continually hitting on me, I might risk my job for that. Indy suggestively looks at me from across the booth. Sanders is not hitting on me when he constantly rings the call light, he's just torturing me. Indy hums, torturing you to get your attention because he wants to screw you. I stay silent on that front. Indy doesn't even know about our interactions outside of the plane, yet she still knows the truth. A night in bed with God gifts to womankind is worth the risk, I'd say. Indy knowingly raises her eyebrows before taking another bite of her brunch. And just so you know, figuratively speaking, if you ever did want to break the whole flight attendant hockey player boundary thing, your secret would be safe with me. I give her a thankful smile, but not big enough to confirm or deny her statement. Figuratively, of course, she adds before taking another bite of her food. When I pull up to my parents' house 20 minutes outside of Nashville, my stomach instantly drops with nerves. I couldn't tell you the last time I was home. Over the last few years, holidays have been a hit or miss between Ryan's and my hectic schedule, paired with my blatant attempt to avoid this city. Hey lady, my driver says from the front seat. I have another ride, you have to get out. Understandably so. I've been sitting in the back of his car for a couple of minutes now, nervously spinning the gold ring on my thumb and contemplating bailing altogether. Sorry, inhaling a deep breath. I exit his car and smooth out my top, feeling extremely uncomfortable, and not because I'm still full from brunch, but because I chose an outfit entirely out of my comfort zone. I own a whopping one top my mother would approve of, so here I am wearing the monstrosity. The blush pink blouse is all frills and lace, but still wrinkled as poop from being in my suitcase. Yes, I'd like to ease the inevitable remarks my mother will have, but I clearly don't care enough to worry about an iron. My Uber driver takes off as soon as I close the car door, and I'm about 2 seconds away from chasing him down on foot and begging him to drive me back to my hotel. V, my dad calls out, swinging the front door open, his arms stretched wide. There's my favourite daughter. I'm your only daughter, Dad, I smile, making my way to his open arms. That you know of, he teases as he wraps me up in his embrace. Man, I missed him. He's the sweetest, but unfortunately a visit with him comes with a visit from my mother, and that's something I can't handle on a regular basis. I wonder why, if the mother's so horrible, and especially horrible to his daughter that he seemingly loves, why is he with her? You know? I love this new job of yours, bringing you home, but what in the world are you wearing? Just trying to make this as painless as possible. He pulls away, his hand still grasping my arms, offering me an apologetic smile. My brother might not see how my mother treats me compared to him, but my dad has noticed. It's been a tough spot for him, trying to have my back while also loving his wife regardless of her shortcomings. Stevie, welcome, my mother says as soon as I walk into the front door. That's already bad vibes. If I was pulling up to my house, my mum said, Phoebe, welcome. But like, what the hell are you saying that for, you weirdo? The house is spotless, the way it was growing up when we knew visitors were coming over. Had to keep up impressions, glad to know I'm categorised as a visitor now. She gives me a quick and awkward embrace from eyeing me up and down, the disapproval evident on her makeup-caked features. She strokes my hair, attempting to get to lie down in a more manageable state, but my curls spring right back up. Take a seat, she motions towards the dining room table. Would you like something to drink? We have some sweet tea, my dad chimes in with excitement. I made it fresh this morning. That's an awful lot of sugar, Neil. I'd love some, Dad, thank you. My mother's dainty pale hands smooth her apron before ghosting the pearls around her neck, clearly trying to bite her tongue and resist saying something direct. My southern mother would never, bless her heart. How's your brother? Of course, her first question would be about my twin brother and not me. She takes a seat across from me at our dining room table, which is set with elegant place settings as if there were going to be a dinner party tonight, but I know there's not. It's all about making things look as pretty as possible at all times. He's good, busy with the season starting, but good. Is he seeing anyone? I shake my head. No, I don't think so. He's got time, my mother says with the wave of her hand. He's only 26. No need to be rushing into anything. He's such a catch, that boy. My dad returns from the kitchen, placing my tea in front of me, followed by a kiss on the top of my head before taking a seat next to my mother. How about you, V? He asks. How are you doing? How's the new job? How's the shelter? I'm good. The job is good. Busy schedule. I quickly nod my head. And I love the shelter. The owner is the kindest woman who is just really grateful for any help she can get. I wish I could be there full time and help out. The building is pretty run down and could use some updates, but the little money that gets donated barely covers the cost of food and medication for the dogs, let alone anything else. Are you seeing anyone? My mother interrupts. No, not right now. Anyway, the dogs are so sweet and so adorable and they just want someone to love them. My dad is all ears as I continue my rant, pride evident in his brown eyes, clearly happy that I found something that makes me so happy. My mother, on the other hand, not so much. There's this Doberman called Rosie and she's an absolute sweetheart, but you know, she looks a little intimidating. She's been there so long at this point and potential owners pass her up without giving her a second glance. What about Brett? My mother asks of my ex. I always liked that boy. Maybe you should reach out to him and see if he's seeing anyone. The double standard is crazy because she's saying the brother's got plenty of time. He's only 26. But then in the same breath is saying basically you need to get back with your ex because you should be in a relationship now. You little loner girl daughter I'm so ashamed of, even though they're literal twins and the same age. There's got to be another reason why she's so like hard on her. You know? There's got to be something else. I just don't know what it is. Teresa, my dad quietly scolds, trying to rein her in, but there's not how the power dynamic in their relationship works. Brett is my ex for a reason. Well, Stevie, my mother not so innocently says, you're not getting any younger, darling. Huh? Yeah, I'm not getting any younger, but I'm also the exact same age as her son, who she just said had plenty of time. Thank you. I saw Hannah and Jackie last night. I avert the conversation. Oh, did you? How beautiful is Hannah now? I saw her mum last week at church. And did you know her little sister qualified for Miss Teen Tennessee this year? I was thinking about seeing if she wanted any of your old pageant dresses I bought for you. You know, since they've never been worn and they wouldn't fit you now anyway. And there it is. I was waiting for her to mention my weight or size. I'm surprised she lasted a whole 20 minutes. That's a great idea, is all I can manage to say. I'm too tired of it all at this point to play into my mum's games. The tea is really good, Dad. To be fair, I'm a bit fuming at the dad that he's not stepping in. Why is he letting his wife talk about his daughter this way? Looking over to him, his brown skin pinches between his brows as he shoots me an apologetic smile. You've got to do more, King, unfortunately for me. Glad you came to see us, V, he says. You probably have to get going, though. You have work soon, right? Headed to Philly tonight, yeah? My dad is the best, trying to give me an out from the visit. I think you need to hold some more accountability for your dad, if I'm being honest. He needs to have your back a little bit more. Anyway, my show time for work is still hours away, but I need to get out of this house. Yeah, I should get going. I stand from my seat as my parents do the same. Stevie, darling, brush your hair before work, please. My mother quickly and awkwardly hugs me goodbye. You don't brush curly hair, is what I was meant to say. Because how dare my mum be big and bold instead of smooth and styled like hers? Will do is my answer instead. It's just not worth it. You look beautiful, V, my dad reassures, holding on extra tight. And I'm so proud of you and everything you're doing with work and volunteering. I'm so happy you found something you love so much. Thank you, Dad. He eyes my mother before looking back at me. Let me walk you out, he swings his arm over my shoulder as I order a ride back to my hotel from my phone. As soon as we're outside and the door is closed, he turns towards me. Don't listen to her, honey. How can I not? It's constant. She doesn't let up. I'll talk to her. What good is that going to do? You've talked to her for years and she's still like this. There is nothing I can do to make her happy. You know how she is, V. Yeah, Dad, I do. But that's not a good enough excuse anymore. My car pulls up just in time, so I give him another quick hug goodbye. Love you, I toss over my shoulder as I walk down the walkway to my car in frustration. I love you, my beautiful daughter, he adds. Just as I get inside, I offer him a small wave as my car drives away from the house I never want to visit again. Okay, so interesting to finally meet her mother and father. Very brief, very short. Yeah, the mother is a pig. Period. No redemption from her. I think she's just a bitch, basically. And she's probably jealous of her daughter, you know, because she's clearly stunning. She doesn't have confidence in herself and whatever, and she doesn't fit that very southern stereotype look, which is like skinny, petite, white, blonde haired, blue eyed cowboy Southern belle girl. But she's gorgeous, and she's like none of those things and is still like more beautiful and gorgeous than all of them, and that scares them. Even her mother. And the dad needs to do a little bit more for me, King. Like, he says like, oh, I'll talk to it. Well, clearly you're not getting your point across enough. Clearly you're not being angry enough. And I think when the mother's saying stuff like that in front of your daughter, I would be like, why are you saying that? Like, it needs to be a conversation had between all three of you, no? And it's sort of, I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but like, because obviously she's mixed race, her father is black, and obviously the mother has this like weird, like almost like hatred towards her daughter because of that part of her, but then she married a black man, so it's so interesting. But I need more, because that was very brief. So I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit more intel, because I'm confused. Chapter 14. Sanders. I like playing against Nashville. Their crowd is rowdy as fudge and I live off that poop. He loves swearing, my man. Most athletes enjoy the buzz of their home games, earning cheers from the stadium full of loyal fans wearing their team colours. I, on the other hand, thoroughly enjoyed the hate of being on the visiting team. I called it a road ice advantage. You want to boo when I step onto the ice? No problem. I'll throw your star forward into the boards for that. You want to call my teammates names or make up stupid effing chants that make no goddamn sense just to taunt us? Please do. It'll fuel me to skate even faster and hit a little harder. You want to scream at me and hit the glass while I enjoy my well-earned penalty box minutes? Music to my ears, baby. Just another reason I love life on the road. Turn that up, I shout to Rio from across the visiting team's locker room. That's my song. Rio does as I ask, adjusting the volume on his old school boombox that he carries everywhere with him and filling the locker room with one of my favourite hype songs. I stay seated in my locker stall, fully suited up for our game, as the music focuses me, getting me ready for the next 60 minutes of hockey. Pulling out my phone, I find a text waiting from my sister, Lindsay. Her schedule is almost as insane as mine. She's the youngest lawyer to make partner at her firm in Atlanta. She's 30 years old and fudging badass, so I appreciate any time she takes out of her busy schedule to reach out. And I'm thankful it's not about my mum, the way her last text was. Lindsay, happy National Siblings Day. I didn't even know that was a thing. Good luck tonight, 11. Attached to her message is a link to an Instagram post I'm tagged in. One of our local sports networks made a post with a bunch of pictures of different athletes around Chicago and their siblings with the caption, Happy National Siblings Day to our favourite brothers and sisters. The picture of Lindsay and me after one of my games is a good one, so much so that I screenshot it, adding it to my minimal camera roll. It's mostly filled with selfies that Ella Jo took of herself on multiple occasions when she'd stolen my phone. Swiping over, they also posted a photo of Madison and his brother. After that, a few guys I know in town with their siblings. Some play for the Devils, a couple for Chicago's pro baseball team, the Windy City Wolves, and one for our football team, the Chicago Cobras. But the last photo on this post is the one that captures my attention the most. It's a picture of the point guard for the Chicago Devils. Number 5, Ryan Shea. But that's not what I find so surprising. It's the curly-haired flight attendant at his side tucked under his arm. Uh-oh, Stevie! I quickly press the tag button, but the only name on the account that pops up is Ryan's, so I click on it. Going to the list of people he follows, I type in her name, and there she is, Stevie Shea. I had no fudging clue that Stevie is Ryan Shea's sister. Sure, their skin shares the same light brown tone and freckles, and their eyes are the same bright blue-green, but putting that together would have been nearly impossible. and she clearly didn't want me to know. Otherwise, she would have told me who she was that night I ran into her outside of Madison's apartment, or when I found her watching his game at the bar in Denver. Now it completely makes sense why she lives across the street from me. Her brother makes ridiculous money. Stevie's Instagram account is private, of course. The only thing I can see is her thumbnail picture, which is the view from an airplane window with the sun setting right outside. Her bio reads, "Probably out of town," with an airplane emoji after that. Without thinking twice about it, I request to follow the wild girl. He's ballsy, I like it. I feel good getting off the bus and onto the airplane after beating Nashville with ease. Or should I say I feel good about the game. What I don't feel good about is the fact that Stevie still hasn't accepted my follow request on Instagram. It's been hours. I'm sure she's seen it. Last night when she turned down my proposition, I kind of loved it. Also, I figured she would. She doesn't give in to me easily, which makes this chase all the more fun. It keeps me on my toes, which very rarely happens anymore, but I wouldn't mind her giving in a little bit, even if it's as simple as accepting my stupid follow request on Instagram. Ez, one of the rookies, calls out from the back of the plane. I begin to loosen the tie around my neck when he asks, "Get laid by a sudden little thing last night?" loud enough for the entire plane to hear, including a particular flight attendant who happens to be walking down the aisle as we speak. I'd assume the girls on board are used to all foul mouths at this point. The airplane is an extension of the locker room for us. As I stand in the aisle next to my seat, I attempt to lean back out of the way for Stevie to walk by, but let's be honest, I'm not moving all that much. It's a tight squeeze for anyone to walk through the 50 guys that just boarded the plane and have yet to sit, so I'll pretend that I'm trying to be a gentleman as I get out of the way. She refuses to look up at me as she makes her way from the back of the plane to the front, but when Stevie walks by me, I place my hand on her lower back and guide her as she squeezes through. I like it. And when her booty brushes the front of my pants, my hand grips her hip as her body stiffens under my touch before she continues on her way. Yes! Yes! Sanders, the rookie, calls again, earning my attention. Come on, man, I need details. Just because you can't get laid, Thompson, doesn't mean you need to hear every detail of these sexcapades. Madison chimes in, trying to help me avoid my teammates' inquiries of what my night looked like. Not that Stevie and I hooked up, and he knows that, but if and when the time comes, I really am going to have to keep that under wraps from the rest of the boys, which is something I've never done before. I don't kiss and tell, I call back to Thompson from my seat in the exit row. The entire plane falls silent for a moment before hyena level laughter takes over the cabin. Bull poop, did you take a hit to the head tonight? That's your favourite thing to talk about, Ez. Oh, this isn't going to be nice for Stevie to hear. Just a few of the shouts that come from the back of the plane from my teammates, and I don't miss the heckles from the front of the aircraft where the coaching staff sits either. I know you got some action last night, Rio cuts in. 1 second you were at the bar, and the next you disappeared. The only time that happens is when there's a chick involved. My eyes dart to Stevie, who is trying to distract herself with meaningless tasks towards the front of the plane as people continue to find their seats. She won't look at me, but her freckled face has some extra colour. Little does Rio know that I actually got turned down, which hasn't happened to me since I hit puberty. Last night the only action I saw was my right hand when I had to jerk one out after walking Stevie home. I had a hard pretty much the entire time, from when I pinned her up against the wall to when I took care of it in the shower. Yes. Madison turns around to face the rest of the guys. How about instead of wondering where Z put his do-do-do last night, you guys think how the fudge you're going to fix the 38% you two averaged in face-off wins tonight? Yes, Captain, Rio and Thompson say at the same time, the back of the plane finally letting go of the interrogation of how my night went. For most of the flight to Philly, I've kept looking down at my phone, hoping to see that Stevie has accepted my follow request. Shocking news, she hasn't. I even went to use the bathroom at the back of the plane, and when I did, I saw Stevie sitting in the back galley scrolling on her damn Instagram feed. My Instagram has been flooded, however, with plenty of girls in Philly. I'm still holding out hope that Stevie will figure it out and have one wild night with me, but in case she really doesn't want to, I have options. I always have options. Once the lights are out and most of the boys are passed out asleep for our red-eye flight, I make my way back to the galley again. Need something, Xanders? Stevie's blonde co-worker asks. Indiana, I think her name is, or some poop like that. I hum in contemplation, trying to make my presence known. No, trying to get the wild one's attention, but Stevie doesn't acknowledge me, standing behind her and blocking the entrance to the galley. Instead, she continues to mess around on her phone with her back to me. You know what, her co-worker says, I think I'm going to go find Tara and distract her for a little bit. We love Indy. That and Stevie's attention as her eyes dart to her co-worker. My brows shoot up just the same. Blondie over here is pretty intuitive because I know there's no way in hell Stevie told her anything. Not after her freak out last night, thinking there might be some leaked pictures of us fraternising. The flight attendant sneaks past me, adding a knowing pat on my shoulder before leaving me alone with Stevie. Do you need something? Stevie asked, still looking down at her phone and not facing me. I slyly glance back over my shoulder at the rest of the plane, just to make sure no one is paying us any attention. The back galley is relatively dark, so I doubt her co-workers could see us from the front. With most people asleep and her co-workers distracted, I take slow, leisurely steps to stand behind her, mere inches from her body. Okay, I like being this close to her. I can almost count the freckles that decorate her nose and cheeks from here. Plus, she smells really fudging good. I'm a bit of a clean freak, but some of my teammates could really use a lesson in the hygiene department. Stevie stiffens at my movements, but refuses to turn around and face me. Placing my hands on the counter in front of us, on either side of her, I cage her in. I can see the pulse in her neck quickening. Damn, okay. Can you? But Stevie continues to try to play it cool. Need something? She casually asks, her eyes still down on her phone screen as it sits on the counter in front of us. I'm not going to make some big deal that I know she's Ryan Shea's sister. For some reason she didn't want to tell me, so I'm going to keep pretending that I have no idea. Not that it matters either way. If anything, that little fact will put Stevie and me in the same place more than the universe already has. Ryan is a big name in Chicago sports, the same as me. We do a poop ton of city events together. Just one thing, I whisper, my lips mere inches away from her ear as the tiny gold earrings that decorate it. This moment is too much of a prime opportunity to pass up. Stevie's phone is right there on the counter in front of us, unlocked, as she tries to keep herself preoccupied by scrolling on it. Standing behind her, I take control, find her Instagram app, open it, and immediately go to her follow requests. There's only one. Me. Haha! I'll just pretend like you didn't see this. I watch as a small smile lifts at the corner of her lips. I accept the request for her, then without hesitation, I press the little blue button that follow back, adding Stevie to my ridiculously long list of Instagram followers. Closing the gap between us, I make my chest flush to her back. When you change your mind, I can't speak. My tone is low, my lips ghosting the shell of my ear. This is how you're going to get a hold of me. I watch as Stevie's body slightly trembles from a shiver, but her eyes stay glued down at her phone, avoiding eye contact with me. Got it, sweetheart. I ask, needing the confirmation that I'm not crazy, that this is a two-way street, that she wants a night with me as badly as I want one with her. The air is thick with tension and anticipation as I wait for Stevie's response. The very subtle, almost non-existent nod of her head is my confirmation. Yes! Telling me that it's going to happen, and it's probably going to happen soon. She ever so slightly melts into my body, her head resting on my chest. Leaning forward, I press into her as much as I can, needing to feel her and needing her to know just how virgin belly I want her. Stevie pushes her booty out subtly, rubbing against me. Her hips moving in a small, torturous circle, and I can only hope that the low groan I accidentally release is too quiet for anyone else to hear. Hey Stevie, Rio asks from behind me, startling us both. The interruption causes Stevie to jump back and away from her phone, her booty rubbing against my doo-doo even more. A quiet taste escapes my teeth from the sensation, and there's no chance in hell of hiding the hard-on I'm sporting because of it. Can I get a Gatorade? Rolling my eyes, I quickly turn to face the sides of the airplane where the exit door is, needing to hide the fudging rock forming in my sweatpants. Sure thing, Rio. What the hell, she's never that nice to me when I ask her to do her job. It's in the fudging cooler, Rio, I say much too loudly, completely frustrated. It's right there, man. I'm motioning over my shoulder to the giant white cooler less than a foot away from him. Right fudging there. When Stevie's eyes lock on the action happening in the front of my pants, her face sweeps with amusement. Oh, so you do know where it is. Do not mess with me right now, sweetheart, I warn, trying to adjust myself without my teammates seeing what I'm packing. But apparently my warning isn't all that stern, because all it does is cause Stevie to chuckle to herself, fully satisfied with the effect her body has on mine. Oh my god, guys, it's getting good. It's getting good. It's getting so good. Chapter 15. Stevie. I've almost successfully made it through this 14-day road trip without giving in to Xander's, but let me tell you, the purple vibrator I keep in my travel bag has really had to put in the work these last 2 weeks. Every flight we're on tempts me that much more. At this point, even the way he asks for his stupid sparkling water makes me want to jump his bones. I need to get laid, and I don't think just anyone will do. I locked myself in my hotel room in Philly, Buffalo and Jersey, and here I am in DC, lying in bed, refusing to leave my room. I just have to make it through tonight, and we'll be back on a flight to Chicago tomorrow evening, and I'll be home free, at least for the time being. I've succumbed to ordering my food via delivery apps to avoid leaving the safe space of my hotel. With our track record, I already know that if I so much as step outside, I'll run into Xander's. The universe is testing me, willing me to give in, and fudge do I want to. But I can't, and not just because of my job, but because of the promise I made to myself. After Brett essentially used me for 3 years in college, I said I would never date an athlete again, and that means not sleeping with one either. Right? Or is that some kind of loophole? That sounds like a loophole. That sounds like a really tempting loophole. Since that night in Nashville 2 weeks ago, I couldn't even tell you how many things I've gotten off to the image of Evan Sanders. Thinking about his beautifully sculpted body and the massive heat he's packing down below has me clenching my legs together, trying to resist. I don't think I've masturbated this much in my life, yet the ache and need are still there. Reaching for my purple vibrator on my nightstand. Oh my god, guys, come in close. I hope you got your book as well. Yeah. I place it under the sheet between my legs. The heavenly buzz fills my room as my favorite toy gets me even more wound up. It's not going to take much. I'm almost there already. Xander's devil, I can't do it. Xander's devilish grin is playing in my mind, including the way I'd imagine his flawless body rolling on top of mine. The image of his chiseled arms holding himself up above me while he thrusts in and out at a torturous pace. His chain that I wouldn't mind hitting my chin as it dangled over me. His voice, velvety smooth and confident. I bet that boy talks dirty in bed too. I want him to talk dirty to me. Bzz. Yes. So close. I'm right there. My chest is arched off the mattress. Bzz. Bzz. Silence. What the hell? Looking down at the toy in my hand, I press the power button again and again, but it's no use. It's dead. And I didn't pack my charger. I've never needed it on a road trip before, but then again, I've never gone off this many times in a 2-week span. Are you kidding me? As if it wasn't already pent up enough as it is. My fingers. Those work. Gliding my middle finger down my lower stomach until it grazes my... This is the first time we're getting this word. My kitty cat Moo Moo. I push myself into my hand, rubbing, teasing, circling. Okay, this will do, but I wish it were someone else's fingers doing the work. Someone else's long, tattered fingers that just so happen to be decorated with gold rings. Stop, Stevie, you can't go there. My phone dings on my nightstand, distracting me from the brink of my orgasm. You've got to be kidding me. Tonight is not my night. Unintentionally, I roll my eyes as I reach over to get my phone, and when I see whose name interrupted my moment, an audible grunt leaves my throat. My ex. Well, the vibe is ruined. I can sit back here peacefully. My ex of all people is hitting me up, completely out of the blue, while I'm trying to get off to the image of the one person I shouldn't be fantasizing about. Brett. Hey Stevie, long time no talk. Yeah, it has been a long time. As it not since I overheard you telling your teammates that as soon as you thought you were going pro, you were planning to drop me for the better options you assumed you had. Brett. I talked to Ryan the other day about coming to visit. I didn't know you were living out in Chicago now, but that's awesome. And you're flying with the Raptors? What is Evan Sanders like in real life? Screw this guy. He's my favourite player in the NHL. I'm planning on taking you to dinner when I get to the Windy City. Talk soon. What? Okay, number one, his favourite player being Evan Sanders. I'd Screw it, girl. You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, is it petty? Yeah, is it a bit childish? But girl, do it, because God, wouldn't that feel good? Wouldn't that vengeance feel good? Yes, it would. And two, he didn't even say like, oh, when I come to Chicago, like I'd love to be able to just like take you out and maybe talk and I don't know, like apologize for being a poopy person. The fact that he's like, I'm taking you out. Excuse me? You're not telling me what to do because you are not a person that is important in my life. Hello? Kill me right now. Kill me right fudging now. No way in hell am I going anywhere with Brett, and there's absolutely no chance I'm going to introduce him to Xanders of all people. Tossing my phone to the other side of the bed, I resume my position with my finger between my legs, but it's no use, the moment is gone. Fudging Brett. With a huff, I sit up, my back to the headboard, thoroughly pissed off that my ex had the audacity to text me so casually like that. He thinks I'm going to crawl right back to him the way I did countless times in college. He thinks he can keep treating me like his backup option and I'll be waiting for him. I don't want to be anyone's options anymore. I want someone to choose me. Do you know who's been trying to choose me for 2 weeks now? Brett's favourite player in the NHL, that's who. In a moment of absolute frustration, pent-up aggression and a sprinkle of pettiness, I reach for my phone and open Instagram. Without overthinking it, I go to Xander's profile where 3.6 million people follow the defenseman. He, on the other hand, only follows 128. And I am one of those 128. My thumbs hover over my phone screen as I internally battle with myself about whether or not this is a good idea. I mean, I know it's a terrible idea, but right now it feels worth it. It's just one night of hot, very much needed, hopefully filthy, just one night. The usual which I carry in my back pocket for my opening lines on the dating apps is completely thrown out. Xanders is a different breed of man, something I'm not used to. I want to send something clever, spicy, and maybe a bit elusive, but instead the flirty message I send is, hey. Brilliant, Stevie. Not even 30 seconds later, this boy is keen. Those 3 grey dots dance along my phone screen as Xanders types his reply. His message in response is not, hey, it's not, how are you? It's nothing fluffy or soft, testing out the situation. No, because it's Xanders. The guy drips arrogance. He knows what he wants and he always seems to get it. Case in point, me only lasting 2 weeks before giving in to him. The message he sends in reply, an address. Simply an address. Nothing less, nothing more. And for some reason, I find that really fudging hot. He's not playing games. He knows why I'm reaching out. My Uber driver pulls up to a club on 18th Street in downtown DC following Xander's instructions. I head to the 3rd floor, but when I get there, a bouncer stops me, barricading the entrance. Name? Oh, I look over my shoulder at the line beginning to form behind me, wanting to enter the dark club in front of me. I must be in the wrong spot. Reading the message from Xanders, I ask the bouncer, is this 18th Street Lounge? Name, he repeats. Stevie? He scans the clipboard in front of him, his eyes dragging down the names before moving out of the way and directing me inside. Ez is in the back corner. My head is on a swivel. That's what I always imagine when people write that. Oh, it makes me feel a bit dizzy. My head is on a swivel as I enter the dark club, looking around. This place is packed, even for a Saturday night, and it's hard to see through the crowded space. The music is so loud and overbearing that I'm about 2 seconds away from turning around and going right back to my hotel. You following me? Someone yells over the music. Chasing the sound, my eyes wandered to the corner of the club. He must have shouted that loud for you to hear that. To what looks like a VIP area. It's sectioned off from the rest of the room with red velvet ropes, and the reserved space is littered with beautiful women. Really, they're stunning. Tall, thin, all different beautiful skin tones and hair colours. What the hell am I doing here? Stevie. Xander stands from the couch, finally coming into view. Here, I walk towards him as he removes multiple grabby hands from his body before meeting me partway. He nods towards a security guard in charge of the velvet rope, ushering him to move it and let me inside. Come here, Xander says, loud enough for me to hear over the crowd as he grabs my hand and guides me to follow behind. His fingers lace between mine as a pulse of electricity flows up my arm. He leads us to the very back of the dark VIP section, earning some privacy and fewer vibrations from the pounding music coming through the speakers. Is anyone else from the team here? I nervously ask. No, just me. Looking around the room to be sure, I nod, thankful he had the foresight not to invite me to a place that would be packed with my clients. This thing I'm about to do is bad enough. I don't need everyone on the airplane to know about it, especially his teammates. I hear the way they talk about their hookups, and even though I'm about to be one, I'd rather no one else know. Ready to do this, I look at him with pleading eyes, needing to get this started before I chicken out or come to my senses. Whoa there, eager are we? Sanders laughs. At least buy me dinner first, sweetheart. I've never felt so used. His humour breaks my nervous tension as a small laugh escapes me. That is until I look behind him at the countless model-esque women who are currently giving me the death stare for taking away their jersey for the night. You have quite the room full of options. He doesn't turn around, instead he keeps his focus on me. I always have options. That puts a bitter taste in my mouth as I look anywhere other than him, especially since less than an hour ago I heard from the guy who always reminded me that's all I ever was, an option. But I'm glad my first choice showed up. Damn, the way I'd fall for it, you know. Sanders' hazel eyes are soft yet full of fire as he looks down at me, causing some of the nerves to disappear. His words fill me with a bit of that confidence I need to do this tonight. What made you change your mind? He asked, softly brushing my curls away from my face with the edge of his thumb. Honestly, always. My vibrator died and I didn't pack any charge with me. Sanders studies me for a moment, questioning my authenticity before his deep laugh leaves his chest and fills my ears. You really know how to keep a man's ego in check, Stevie girl. I can't help but smile right back at him. It's all good. Tonight is going to be fun. Should we go then? Eventually, Sanders says, but first we're going to hang out here for a bit. Shifted behind me, his large hands splay over my hips, urging me to walk forward, but he stays close, his chest at my back. Where is here? I ask over my shoulders as Sanders leads us to the private bar in the corner of the VIP section. Here is one of my favourite spots on the NHL schedule. A pair of brothers I went to college with own this lounge. One does the business side of things and the other's band headlines every weekend. He's crazy talented. I think you'll like his music. The music? I throw in my browsing question, referring to the atrociously loud bass vibrating the entire room. No, this music's poop. Sanders releases me from his hold when we reach the bar. He casually leaves one arm on the counter, effortlessly looking hot as hell. Guys, I'm getting so excited I can barely read. But when Nikki's band comes on, you'll get it. What can I get you, Mr. Sanders? The bartender asks. She'll take a beer. He motions towards me, and I have no idea how the hell he knew that. IPA, yeah? Because he's paying attention, and he doesn't even know that he's doing it. He's subconsciously doing it because he likes you. He doesn't even know why. Yeah. And I'll take the same. Instead of interrogating him on how he knew my drink order, I question, what are your other favourite stops on the NHL schedule? Fort Lauderdale is always a good stop because after about 20 cities of bitter cold, South Florida is a perfect 70 degrees in the middle of winter. You've been there before with other teams you work for, I'm sure. I shake my head to tell him no. Miami, yes, but I've never worked for a hockey team before. Well, we stay right on the beach when we're there, so it feels like a mini vacation during those trips. And New York City is a good stop too, but I'd have to say that Columbus is my favourite on the schedule. Columbus? I ask in surprise. Like Ohio? Ohio State is in Columbus. I went to school there, so my old college teammates usually come out for the game. It's the closest thing to home besides Chicago. So you grew up in Ohio. You have family there. Indiana, actually. My dad is still there and my sister is in Atlanta, but Madison's family is more so my family at this point, so I guess Chicago is home because that's where they are. The bartender interrupts putting our beers on the counter in front of us, but I'm thankful for the pause because this conversation is starting to get a little too personal to have with someone who is supposed to be just a one-night stand. Took the words out of my mouth, Stevie. I was going to say the same thing. Where are you looking forward to stopping this season? Sanders asked before pulling his beer up to his lips. Before I can keep the conversation going, the obnoxious house music cuts out and a group of guys take the stage, setting up their instruments. Let's go, Sanders laces his fingers with mine. When I look down at our intertwined hands, I almost can't even see my own because of the size difference. Oh. God, when will it be my turn? But I do notice his veiny forearms that are corded with muscles, though the grip he has on me is vastly contradictory to that. He's gentle as he guides me out of the VIP section and in front of the stage. Again, the lead singer bends down, connecting his fist to Xander's. The space around us quickly fills, bodies pushing into one another and crowding the stage. Xander's pulls me in front of him, my back to his chest, as he puts both hands on the edge of the platform just in front of us, creating a safe barrier where no one can touch me, regardless of how many people are thrashing around trying to get a good spot for the show. As the first tune fills the lounge, I completely understand why this is one of Xander's favourite places to stop. This band's sound is a unique blend of R&B and soul, and the lead singer's voice is deep but soft, blending perfectly with the instruments behind him. 2 songs in and the crowd is relaxed, the melodic harmonies flowing through the room and chilling everyone out. So much so that Xander's no longer has to use his giant arms to block me in, protecting me from the mass of people. He picks up his beer from the edge of the stage, leisurely bringing it to his lips as my body involuntarily sways to the beat of the music. Xander's other hand releases the platform in front of us before ever so slightly finding my hip bone and holding me to him. His large hand splays over the top of my jeans, his palm grazes the lowest part of my stomach, and his fingers rest dangerously close to the spot between my legs. I inhale a shaky breath. This is the first time Xander's has ever really touched me, and after fantasising about it for weeks now, the nerves are starting to take over. It doesn't startle me though, we both know why I came here tonight, so instead of staying frozen in place the way I am now, I lean back against him, continuing to sway to the music lightly. I refuse to worry about the consequences that tonight is going to bring. Instead, I focus on the sexiest sim man behind me, whose body is going to absolutely wreck mine tonight. At least one can hope. By songs 8 and 9, our beers are gone, glasses discarded, and nerves wholly abandoned. Xander rests both his hands on my hips, his thumbs have found their way under the hem of my shirt and against my flesh. The cold metal of his rings ignite my skin, and just for tonight I try my hardest not to worry about a man touching my stomach, though I can feel myself holding my breath and slightly sucking in every once in a while. Play it cool, wear your mask of confidence. On song 10, I've completely forgotten I'm at a private concert in a club. All I can focus on is the giant man behind me, whose minor touches are driving me absolutely insane. Xander's hands glides to my hip bones, pushing my booty into him. His fingers trace upwards, slightly brushing my ribcage before sliding down my forearms and interlacing with mine. His nose nudges against me as his lips graze against the soft skin under my ear, but they don't connect, and I'm not going to lie, this little teasing session is doing me in. Kiss me, I quickly request, far too much out of breath. He doesn't respond with words, but lightly shakes his head against me. Touch me, I plead. Not yet, sweetheart, you know the rules. He releases me, refusing to touch me, but I continue to lean back against him. Of course I remember his little rule he made outside of the bar in Nashville, telling me that when I changed my mind, I would have to beg him to flirt me on my knees. God, I forgot. But I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought he was all talk. Clearly he's not. A-hole. I roll my eyes even though he can't see me. Xander's chest rumbles behind me. Such dirty words come out of that pretty mouth of yours. He moves my hair out of the way as his lips go to my ear, igniting my whole body. Are you ready to show me what else that mouth can do? Our bodies couldn't be closer. I arch my back, grinding my booty into him as the music continues to fill the lounge, but I can hear the low groan he releases perfectly clear. For the first time, I've known Xander's, the horde of people that surround him, constantly wanting his attention, doesn't bother me, because just for tonight, his attention is solely on me. Stevie, sweetheart, Xander's whispers against me. If we don't go now, I'm going to end up flooding you in a dark corner of this bar. And I need you in my bed. So once again, are you ready to beg for it? I confidently nod my head. My eyes still glued to the band in front of me. Then let's go. He urgently takes my hand in his and he leads us out of the crowded room back to his hotel. Guys, look, it's about to get crazy. It's about to get crazy. There's no point in me going back there. I'm gonna have to stay up front, okay? I have people in this room. Not in this room. What? My brain is scrambled because I'm anxious. My brain... No, what? There's people in this house that doesn't need to hear this. They don't need to, you know? And so I'm not gonna scream it at the top of my lungs. This is just for you and I. You clicked on this video, you knew what you were getting yourselves in for. Oh my god. Guys, I'm so scared. God, and then like, cause like, okay, we know what's about to go down, but like, I don't think I can fully take it if we get both point of views, cause then that's 2 chapters, you know? And I don't know if I can do that. Oh my god. Okay, chapter 16. Stevie. Xanders keeps my hand in his, essentially pulling me into the hotel lobby. He strides along and quick, equally as ready as I am to get to his room. Oh poop, he quietly curses under his breath, pulling me to stand behind a pillar with him, shielding our bodies from anyone else to see. One of my coaches is down here. A shot of adrenaline courses through me as if it wasn't already buzzing enough, but also a bit of thankfulness that even though this is just a one-night stand for both of us, Xanders has the decency to make sure I don't lose my job over it. When the main doors open and close, Xanders looks over his shoulder at the empty lobby. Once again, he takes my hand in his, pulling me to the elevator. His legs are much longer than mine as I have to run just to keep up with his quick walk. He presses the number for his floor before frantically pushing the buttons to close the doors. Sorry. All while he continues to peer out into the lobby. As soon as the metal doors shut, he turns back to me, hunger in his hazel eyes. He takes a calm but confident step towards me as I hold on to the handrails at my side. Yeah, get ready, girl. It's about to be crazy. Hold on. Trusting them to keep me upright because with the way he looks right now stalking towards me, I'd assume my knees are about to give out from his dangerous gaze. You know, Stevie, Xanders corners me in the elevator. If you hadn't been so stubborn that night in Nashville, I could have kissed you by now. The pad of his thumb drags across my lower lip as his eyes trail the movement, mesmerised by the whole thing. I really like this mouth of yours. His hand covers my jawline before his thumb tugs my chin down, causing my mouth to fall open. I'm gonna really like. What did it do? Holy poop! He moves in closer, his nose nudging mine and his mouth mere centimetres from my own, but he doesn't come any closer than that. He stays there torturing me while sweeping his bottom lip with his tongue. Kiss me, I breathe out. Please, Xanders. His full lips lift in a sinister smirk. I knew I was going to like hearing that smart mouth begging for me. Before he can bend down and press his mouth to mine, the elevator dings and the door opens to his floor. Let's go so I can hear it a little more. His little tugs on the bottom of my shirt as he walks backwards, a victorious grin playing on his lips. Xanders unlocks his hotel room for me, allowing me to enter first, and when I do, my mouth falls open from how nice it is. I suppose I should have realised from the luxury lobby with marble flooring or the violin strings playing in the elevator, but to be honest, I've been pretty distracted by a 6'5" hockey defenseman who's going to absolutely destroy my body in bed tonight. The flight crew stays in nice enough hotels, but nothing like this, not even close. My eyes fall on the multiple pristine suites that hang in his closet. Suits that hang in his closet. Xanders always dresses to the nines, so no surprises there. Then my gaze flickers to the bathroom where more products line in the counter than my local Sephora. Again, not shocked in the slightest. The click of the door pulls me out of my daze as I turn back to face him. He slowly steps towards me, unbuttoning the top of his shirt, allowing his tattoos, gold chain and ridges of muscle to come into view. This is a one-time thing, I remind both him and myself as I stay frozen in place in the centre of the room. Okay, queen. His chest heaves in a silent laugh as he continues his slow stride. Another button comes undone. Sounds fan-fudging-tastic. And we're never speaking of this after tonight. Sure, I wouldn't dare. Another step, another button. But what are we going to tell your co-workers when you can't walk tomorrow? Oh god, he's got a point. Maybe that'll keep you from pressing that damn call button all flight. Not a chance. I can't wait to watch you limp down the aisle of that airplane knowing I'm the one who did that to you. He stops right in front of me as he unbuttons the last on his shirt. It falls open, showcasing his beautiful built body covered in black ink and gold jewellery. Suddenly, a jolt of nerves hits me again as I cross my arms over my covered chest. This man who looks like every girl's wet dream has been with the most beautiful women in the world, and now he's about to see me naked. "Are you sure about this?" and just pushes a corkscrew curl away from my face. My eyes bounce between his, trying to read him. Sweet and cautious aren't really his style, so this concerned question in his little So this concerned question is a little strange, regardless that he can probably read my body language like a book right now. Because I'm about to ruin every other man for you. There he is. My eyes squeeze together at the thought. Doubtful, I challenge. My confident mask is back on as I reach for the belt on his pants. I know the rules, and even if I didn't, I've been salivating at the thought of having him in my mouth. As soon as my fingers grasp the zipper, Xander stops me, placing his hands on mine. When my attention darts up to him, I notice that his arrogance has disappeared, replaced instead with uncertainty. Oh, Xander's callous fingertips slide under my shirt, digging into my waist. He takes 2 commanding steps forward as I go back with him until my shoulder blades hit the hotel room wall. He takes a long, laborious inhale, defeat clear on his features as one of his hands cups my face, his thumb alone covering my jaw. His other hand stays on my waist, keeping me pinned against the wall. His touch is assertive and controlling, but somewhat tender in a strange and unexpected way. Gold flecks shine in his eyes as they bounce between mine, looming over me. "Fudge the rules," he breathes out. "We both know you'll be crying out my name plenty tonight." And with that, the small space between us is filled when Sanders urgently presses his mouth to mine. His lips are soft and full, meeting every wet, hot glide with a more demanding one of his own. Inhaling into each other, my arms sling over his shoulders, pulling him closer to me, and when he slips his warm tongue into my mouth, a desperate whimper escapes my throat. Because holy hell, this guy can kiss. The effect of his lips finally touching mine, as well as the dominant hold he has on me, shoots through every nerve in my body. Its rush ignites every tip of my fingers, flowing through my chest, and most notably to the apex of my eyes. His hot mouth works perfectly against mine before finding its way to my throat, dipping and soothing, and I don't know if I've ever needed someone's touch as much as I need it right now. He pins me to the wall, and with his hips. As I subconsciously push mine into him, feeling him grow against me. I coax him by writhing, arching my body and pulling a throaty growl from the man who always seems to be in control. Xander's grip leaves my face and waist, urgently sliding around to my booty, travelling south and lifting me up as if I were light as a feather. That's a man right there. Yes. Okay. As a quick, self-conscious thought travels through my mind, don't let it, as he carries me to the couch with my legs wrapped around his waist, but Xander shows no strain from holding me up as he sits down with ease. Straddling him, I can feel his hardness beneath me, even through my jeans, lining myself over his leg. I continue to move and cry, rocking my body, trying to ease the ache. Both my hands slip around the back of his neck as my nails scratch his scalp. Xander humps into my mouth. I like that. I keep my mouth on him as I roll my hips, earning some much needed friction on my kitty cat meow and grinding down on my rock hard, on the rock hard. Ba-doo-doo-doo-doo. He's hiding in his pants. Hiding probably isn't the right word. From what I can feel, there's not much hiding going on. Fudge, he groans. I like that even more. My chest fills with confidence. I can do this. What else do you like? Xander's lips tug up slightly on one side. I'd like to see what that mouth of yours can do other than talk back to me. My palms run the length of his chest, pushing his shirt over his broad shoulders. You like when I talk back to you. He does. Xander tries to hold back his knowing grin by kissing me again. He fills his palms with 2 handfuls of my booty before he slaps it, then nudges me off his lap. I slip off him before taking a step back. When Xander stands, he peels his arms out of his shirt, leaving it on the couch and towering over me. Keeping his hooded eyes locked on mine, he undoes the zipper of his pants before nodding towards them and silently telling me to finish the job. Oh my god. Biting down on my lower lip, I get on my knees in front of him, minuscule under this powerful man. My fingers hook into his pants, tugging them down. They're tight around his booty and thighs. Hockey player problems. But when they get past the majority of his muscles, they pull around his ankles. He watches every movement with vigilant attention. As Xander kicks his shoes and pants to the side, all I can do is keep my stare at the giant package behind his tight briefs. I've seen him in as little clothing as he's in right now, every time we're on the airplane, but I was hoping that he was a shower, not a grower. Judging by my current view, he's both. I flatten my palm against him through the fabric, causing Xander's tears and inhale from the sensation, stroking his length all the material. I peer a bit him through my lashes. Don't tease me, sweetheart. Xander runs the pad of his thumb across my lip in a warning. Stop budging playing with me and take it out. Returning my attention south, I grip the elastic. Oh my god. In the words of Cher, I really don't think I'm strong enough. Whoa. Pull him down when his doo-doo bounces to his full size right in front of me. The first thought that rushes through my mind is how the fudge is this supposed to inside my mouth, let alone anywhere else. I can feel my eyes widen as I grip his my fingers having trouble connecting due to this. It's decorated with and for a I've got to say it's pretty beautiful. Guys, this is harder than I anticipated it to be. I'm not joking. Open your mouth, Xander's commands. I do as I'm told, wetting my lips and taking him in my mouth. A breathy moan escapes him and fills my ears, coaxing me in, sliding my tongue down his shaft and taking as much of him as I can. What doesn't fit? I use my hand. Good girl, Xander gathers my curls in his face, holding my hair out of the way. Now, open your throat. What do you mean? Open your throat. What? All the blood in my body rushes to the spot between my legs as I push my knees together, hoping the friction will ease the ache caused by his words. I continue my pace, my head bobbing, my lips and my hands stroking. I take him a little deeper, and as I do, I look up with watery eyes. Xander's commanding gaze is mesmerized on every move I make. Keep doing that, fudgers. Oh god. He encourages, his thumb brushing over my cheekbone as his hips thrust into me. Oh my god. He continues his movements as I take as much of him as I can. I like when your mouth is too busy to make your smile as remarks. My eyes narrow into slits as I continue to blow. But Xander wears a satisfied grin as one of his brows lifts in a challenge. My tongue circles the hem of his cuckoo in a rhythmic pace before my lips run down the length, knocking my cheeks in. My hands reach open arms as well. I stroke the thin skin as Xander falls forward, bending at the waist and having to hold onto my shoulders just to keep upright, sliding out of my mouth. A gratified smile rises on my lips before I take a deep, earned breath. If I can't talk, then neither can you. Fudge, he shivers when his breath returns, his eyes closed, attempting to compose himself. Xander is still bent over, holding onto my shoulders for balance. I was right about you, sweetheart. There really is nothing sweet about you, huh? He wipes the moisture from my mouth using his thumb, and as it trails over my lips, I take it in, sucking and stroking it with my tongue. His eyes darken as he removes his thumb from my lips, replacing it instead with his mouth on mine. Tugging on my hand, he forces me to stand from my knees. I cannot believe this flawless naked man is standing right in front of me. His arms are corded, decorated with bulging veins and black ink. His legs are thick, cut and tattered. His abdomen is chiseled and lean, and there's a V of muscle that points straight to the most perfect cuckoo I've ever laid eyes on. Seriously, this thing deserves some kind of medal. Let me see you, he says, barely audible. He gently tugs at the hem, motioning to my top, but he doesn't pull it up. He waits for me to let him. Heat rushes to my cheeks as the nerves return. Am I ready to do this? Am I ready to let him see me? I've come this far, but what if he doesn't like what he sees? I would have to live with that embarrassment for the rest of the season, having him on board after every game on the road. Hey, you okay? He softly asks, his fingers hooked behind my neck and his thumb gently skimming my jaw. If you want to stop, we can stop. My eyes dart to his. The combination of badgering and gentleness between us is sending me for a loop, keeping me on my toes. Shaking my head, I hold onto his bare hip, pressing my fingertips into his flesh and pulling him into me. Sanders takes a step forward. Sanders takes a step towards me, his thing pressing into my stomach, reminding me that I really don't want to stop. I put on my mask of confidence and reach for the hem of my shirt before lifting it up and over my head. As I toss it to the ground, my eyes fall back to him, but his attention dances all over my body. His fingertips softly trail my ribs, drawing small invisible designs into my skin as he explores me. His hand reaches behind my back as his eyes dart to mine, holding my gaze in approval. He unclasps my brow with a swift motion of his wrist. Keeping my head down, I slip my arms out of each of the straps, letting my bra drop to the ground between us. My boobies are two completely different sizes, completely normal, and without the help of my bra, they hang fairly low due to their weight. Typically, I don't care in the heat of the moment, but I've never been with someone as perfectly formed as the man in front of me. Both of Xander's hands take my boobies, his large palms engulfing and squeezing them, making my nipples hard from the attention. His hands are masculine and strong, but his black ink and gold rings have never looked better than they do touching my skin. Holy poopy breeze out, you're a real Stevie girl. When my eyes dart up to his, the only thing I can see in those hazel irises is pure lust. No judgment, no dissatisfaction, just carnal want and need. When I think about it, Xander's has never made me feel self-conscious. Not intentionally anyway. It's always my own self-doubt seeping into my mind that does the trick. And judging by his do-do-do that's standing at attention, I'd say the only person worrying about the way I look is me. I stand a little straighter as his nimble fingers quickly find the button of my jeans, undoing them. The zipper falls before he pushes the denim over my hips and down my legs, standing in only my lace panties that are already soaked. Xander skims his hand over his jawline, shaking his head in admiration. What do you want, sweetheart? What do I want? I want him. I want to get lost in this for just one night. I want him to make me feel everything I need in order to ease the unrelenting ache I've had for the last 2 weeks. I want him to use my body however he sees fit. His eyes lock with mine, waiting for an answer, but for once I find myself a little speechless. Xander takes a commanding step forward, his palms on my hips, pressing my bare back against the textured wall on the far side of the room. One hand finds the wall beside my head, and his other glides against the skin of my abdomen, travelling south. My stomach tightens from both the cold texture of his rings and the sensation of his fingertips on my flushed skin. Finding its way between the lace of my underwear and the warmth of my flesh, his middle fingers skim against my cuckoo before burying itself in the wetness pooling between my legs. A whimper escapes me as I fall forward, my forehead to his chest. Oh my god, he rasps, his fingernail warm and wet, touching soft. My legs begin to shake, but with Xander's aggressive hold on me, there's no way I could fall. Stevie girl, what do you want me to do? As if he doesn't already know, but clearly this man likes to be begged. As he waits for my answer, his lips work their way down my neck and chest, taking one of my breasts into his warm mouth. At the same time, his middle finger curling forward and causing my knees to buckle. Fudge me, I cry out. Please, Xander's. His lips form into a devilish smile against my taut booby areolas. Pulling out from my warmth, he stands up straight before slowly taking his entire finger in his mouth, tasting what's left of me on his hand. Xander picks me up, wrapping my legs around his waist, his do-do-do sliding against the wetness, seeping through the fabric of my panties. Only because you asked so nicely, he adds with a kiss before tossing me on the bed and quickly climbing on top of me. God, I'm exhausted. Genuinely, I'm tired, and I'm hot. The heating's on in this house, and I'm too hot. And I knew this is what exactly. And I knew this was what I knew. I knew this is what was going to happen, because it's still going. They're not going to do a cute little cut to the next morning, you know, like, oh, like last night, what a crazy night. No, we're getting told everything. Stevie's back is flat against the bed, her nails digging into the flesh of my back as I grind my hips down onto her, rubbing my do-do-do against her leg, needing to feel the friction. And as I do, I kiss her lips one last time. Don't get me wrong, I fell in love making out with this girl, but kissing is too intimate. Doing it while in the act does something to these chicks' brains where they attach themselves thinking it's more than just a fudge, even though I make that loud and clear every time. So I keep the intimacy to a minimum. Tonight is about getting off so I can finally stop putting my hand to the image of this curly-haired girl it's had for the last few weeks and move on. Tonight is unattached sex and get it out of our systems. But we all know this one time isn't going to be enough. We know, okay? As I leave her lips for the final time, Stevie reaches over, tugging at the lamp on the nightstand and turning off the only light left out on in the room. Without looking up at her, my mouth works over the warm skin of her neck as I reach out and turn the light back on. I bite and suck on the soft flesh of her chest, being sure to leave my marks low so she can cover it up with her work uniform tomorrow. Oh, that's considerate. And as I do, she reaches over and turns off the light once again. What are you doing? I finally ask, lifting my face to look at her. Turning off the light. Leave it on, I want to see you. No, she says, standing her ground, her gaze pleading with me. I'm not an idiot. In fact, I would say I'm highly aware of both my own feelings as well as others. A near 10 years of consistent therapy will do that to you. Even though I don't give a poop most of the time, I can read other people like a book. So I'd be lying if I said the girl in my bed was completely confident in her body. The lack of eye contact while she was getting naked and the arms crossed over her chest were pretty loud and clear. She's an interesting combination of insecure and confident, the same as I am, but in entirely different ways. But from what I know of the wild flight attendant, she wouldn't want to be treated with kid gloves, so I'm not going to avoid the parts of her body she's insecure about just to keep the attention off them. Instead, I'm going to touch every inch of her while I flirt her so hard she probably won't even remember her own name, let alone what she doesn't like about her body. Even with the lights off, I can see that her nipples are printing little peaks, begging for me, so I take her in my mouth, pulling a soft whimper from Stevie's lips. To be honest, I like everything that comes out of this girl's mouth, whether that be a gentle moan of pleasure, my name as she begs, or one of her smart-ass quips she can't help but fire back at me. I like knowing that whatever is coming back out of her mouth is because of me. My breast swirls against her skin as I work my way down, lower and lower, my lips ghosting the delicate fabric of her panties. Stroking herself in one hand, I use the other to hook into the waistband of the lace, pulling it down slightly, ready to bury my face between her legs. But Stevie places her hand on mine, stopping me. You don't need to do that. I want to. No, you don't, she laughs. My brows furrow. Yes, I do. She looks anywhere but down at me. Well, I don't really like it. I keep my stare on her, willing her to make eye contact with me. Finally, her blue-green eyes connect with mine, allowing me to read her like a fudging book. She's lying. Maybe she's self-conscious about having my face between her thighs, or maybe someone else made her feel like it's a chore, but that's definitely not the case for me. Or maybe she's never had someone who knows what the fudge they're doing while they're down there. Regardless, she told me no, so it looks like I'm skipping this meal tonight, even though I've been starting to taste it for weeks now. Lifting up, I hold myself on one of my elbows, hovering over her. I need you to be comfortable with me. I am, she quickly blurts out. I am. Well, then we need to get something straight. Her throat moves in a deep swallow from my words. I've been thinking about this for weeks now. I don't often wait that long for things I want, but seeing you naked in my bed with this, I cut my hand over her wet panties. Ready for me? Fudge. I can't wait to fudge you, but I'm not going to do it if you keep talking shit about your body. Period. I didn't say anything. I'm in here. I lightly tap the side of her head. I watch as guilt forms on her features. You're mine tonight, and all I see is the insanely sexy body ready for me. These boobies, I take a handful that I want to burn my face in all night. And these thighs, I squeeze the other side of one that I would love nothing more than to use as cheek warmers. I dip my fingers into this soft lace fabric. This pa-doo-doo-doo that is so virgin warm and wet. Sliding finger between the balls. I slip inside, causing Stevie's body to arch and a whimper to leave her throat. This is all mine tonight, I continue, and I'm not going to let you talk poop about what's mine, so I'm going to need you to stop, or we aren't doing this. Stevie doesn't answer, nerves evident on her face. I push my erection into her leg, letting her feel how hard I am. I'm not kidding, Stevie, I'll go take care of this myself, just as I have countless times over the last few weeks. If you don't start being nice to yourself. You haven't hooked up with anyone else over the last few weeks. Her brows crease with confusion. Dropping some of my weight, my chest lies flush on top of her bare boobies. This isn't a position I'm used to. Too intimate. I'm not into eye contact or poop like that when it comes to sex, but this is before anything has really started, so I'll let it slide. No, I tell her honestly. I'm not kidding when I say I've been thinking about flooding you for weeks now. You're all I've been wanting. Stevie's eyes widen with surprise. All of this, my hand roams down her stomach, squeezing her leg before snaking around and cupping her booty. I hide my face into the crook of her neck, my words muffled against her skin. So please let me have it. Poo pandas, I didn't know you were so obsessed with me. A slight smirk lifts on her lips, a bit more confidence replacing the previous uncertainty. Stevie's soft hand runs the length of my ribcage before digging her fingers into my lower back and causing my doo-doo to thrust against her. My eyes hood over as I repeat the movement, finding some much needed friction. I'm going to fudge and destroy your body tonight, and hopefully some of those insecurities that don't make any goddamn sense right along with it. The knowing grin that was lifting on her lips falls, her mouth gaping in shock instead. Can I fudge you answer, sweetheart? Words have evaded the usual quick-witted girl, who instead silently nods in agreement. Good, I stand at the foot of the bed, my fingers finding the waistband of her body. Lift your hips for me. She does as I say it, and as the lace drops to the floor, I can't help but admire the view. Even through the darkness, I can see the soft brown folds glistening from here. So pretty. I breathe out as my fingers find her, circling her, causing her to rise. I don't know what that word means. Beneath my simple touch, I want to fudge and devour her. I want to bury my face so deep between her legs I'll have to come up for oxygen eventually, but she told me no, so until she takes it back, it's not going to happen. Not that she needs much of a warm-up. She's soft already, and my fingers have slipped inside of her multiple times with ease. Hopefully, she's able to take everything I have to offer. It's a lot for most women. In fact, most times I have to hold myself back more than I'd like, but I have faith that Stevie can handle it. As she can. Leaving for a moment, I grab a condom from my bag while Stevie watches me roll it on. I'm clean, by the way, not that she asked, but I get my poop checked on the regular and figures she should know. She bites down on her lip as she stares at my condom covered doo-doo, salivating from where she lies on the bed. Me too. Turn over. Stroking myself, I watch as she does what I say, getting on all fours. Such a good girl, I add with slap over her booty. Now hold on to the headboard. Her slender fingers decorated with tiny gold rings hold on to the big frame as she spreads her knees, giving me a perfect view. I've been imagining this for weeks now, with her poo-poo would look like, feel like, but my imagination was absolutely poop compared to the real thing. Skimming my palm over her jaw, I can't help but shake my head in satisfaction. Over my jaw, sorry, because it's really fudging pretty. With my face wrapped around like a cocoa, I climb onto the bed, sitting up on my knees with Stevie's booty right there, her legs spread for me. I dip 2 fingers into my mouth before creasing them over her goal. When they disappear inside of her, Stevie's head drops between her shoulders as she pushes into my hand, breathing her out. What do you want, sweetheart? My focus is locked on my disappearing fingers, mesmerized by the whole thing. I want you to stop calling me sweetheart. My lips lift on one side, unable to hide it. Not a chance. Besides, I have teammates on either side of these thin walls. You want them to hear me call you by name while I'm inside of you. Stevie doesn't answer, but instead moans at my words as she continues to roll her hips, meeting my fingers in pairs. Removing my fingers from her poo-poo, I wrap a fist around the base of my cuckoo, tapping it against her. Click-click-click. Is that what you've been wanting? I slide my lip against her balls, watching me go on with her mouth. Yes, G-Banks, please, Anders. Then take it. I grip her hip, line myself up, and push into her. I go somewhat slowly, letting her adjust to my size as I watch her knuckles down while holding onto the headboard. Oh my god, she cries! My eyes roll back as she fully takes me, my fingertips curling into the skin of her hips, so I try to hold myself back for a moment. So good, I encourage, but holy fudge, that doesn't do it justice. Great, perfect, 5-star poo-poo is more like it. It grips around me and I have to focus on not puberty. Stevie's hand has dropped down, her chestnut curls running all over as she adjusts to having me inside of her. After a moment of pause, she pushes her booty back into me, needing the movement. My first thrust is half speed, pulling a breathiness from her. Putting a little more force behind the act, I pull back before pushing into her again. Oh my god, yes, Stevie's back, catches her boom up in the air. It's a real nice bum, if I do say so myself. It's plenty soft for my hips to ram into, and it bounces around every time I enter her, filling both of my hands with it, anchoring myself. I thrust into her again, this time causing the bed to knock into the wall behind it. Do you like that, sweetheart? Because, fudge, I know I do. She whimpers. You're doing so good, taking all of me. Quickening my stride and finding a rhythm, I continue rolling into her. She's fudging hard and does a perfect job at meeting me in pace, pressing her booty into me, asking for more. I bend over, my chest pushed to her back, and my lips to her ear. You like me, huh, Stevie girl? I whisper so no one else can hear her name. You're annoying is followed by a needy cry, causing me to laugh. You think you could handle more? I thrust into her again, this I'm even harder watching her eyes roll back into pleasure. Is that all you got? She fucking loves pushing my buttons, even in bed apparently, which is fine by me. Give me a challenge, please. Pulling out of her, I leave her empty. No, she whines, her body trembling as she reaches behind her, trying to grab me. No, I'm so close. Her thighs clenched together, needing to fill the empty egg. What do you say? Please, she begs, desperation pulling her voice. Please, Dennis. Fudge. I don't know if I've ever heard a better combination of two words in my life. Wrapping one of my forearms around her middle, I hold on tight, needing to keep her upright as my other hand covers her mouth. I feel her once again, giving her everything I got. She screams into my palm. Her eyes screw shut as I'm, how did that? You like that? I stare because I don't even need to ask. She repeatedly nods her head as my hand keeps her quiet. Over and over again, I feel her from behind, the consistent tempo causing my body to tingle already. I keep my lips to Stevie's ear, whispering dirty words as I watch the euphoria take over her pretty features. One of my hands moves to her boobie, massaging, kneading and rolling her nipple with my palm. My other hand focuses on her clickly, circling, flicking again, her ready to go with me. That is until Stevie releases the headboard, takes my hand from her boobie, and instead guides it to her throat. Oh my god, there's more pages! I can't help but smile against the skin of her shoulder as I slightly choke her, all the while I'm fighting her from behind. This girl is an absolute wild card. One minute she's insecure about what she looks like, and the next she's asking me to choke her as I'm at her body at my disposal. But I guess that's a little bit like the relationship we have with each other. Moments of softness surrounded by a poop, ton of banter and teasing. Poop, I hiss out. I really like you, sweetheart. Stop calling me sweetheart. The humor isn't lost on me that I'm joking and mentioning a girl that I ironically called sweetheart. Never, I laugh. Ha ha ha. Leaning back, my booty on my heels, I pull her with me so she's on my lap and oh my. Her back is flushed to my chest as one of her hands reaches over, palm curving around my neck, needing to anchor herself. I liked her body before tonight, but now feeling it in my hands and on like a cuckoo, and knowing I could throw her around a little bit and not break her, I think I might be number one fan. You go into G for me. But I hope you guys have a book and you can read this fast, because I'm trying to get through this. My lips go snuggle over her ear. Another wimple leaves her lips as she rests her head back on my shoulders, her eyes closed and her lips parted in pleasure. Her freckled cheeks are flushed and her soft brown skin is glistening with sweat. I really want you to... Oh, amazing! You're doing so good! Okay. I continue to... Some from me and some from her. One of my hands is still circling the thread and the other is circling her swollen cuckoo. Her body begins to tighten and contract on her. I don't know anymore. It squeezes me. Please come all over me, I beg. As I thrust into her a few more times, hitting that spot that causes her entire body to shake. I want it. Baby taking over. She cries, her fingers pulling at the gold chain around her neck, needing to grasp something. The name is something only my favourite people use, and you think it'd cause me to pause, but instead hearing her say it as she comes all over my cuckoo, she does nothing but bring my own release. Fudging hell, I call out, trying to hold myself back, and just then I do something I've never done before. Two of my fingers leave her throat, turning her chin to face me. Pressing my mouth to hers. I inside of her, needing all of my crying over her name, so my touching teammates don't hear it through these thin ass walls. Our mouths move and gape together as we ride out her eyes. Stevie ever so slightly continuing to bounce on my doo-doo. Her fingertips dig into the nape of my neck, pulling me into hers. I kiss her with everything I have left. I hold onto her slightly damp body, refusing to let this enter yet. There's a whole lot of eye contact I didn't plan for as we I'm off our highs. I needed that. Stevie rests her head back on my shoulders, her eyes closed as she catches her breath. Her pretty freckled face is glowing from her, and her lips are swollen from my assault. She drops herself to lie on the bed, completely satisfied and content, her curls sprawled across the white sheets. Oh. Oh God. My neighbors are just there, packing stuff in the car, and I'm here. And I'm here. Jimmy Feather, I can move down here now, because I think we got that part over with. Phew, I thought that was never going to end. I don't want to talk about it right now. I just want to get through the rest of the chapter, please. No, you needed me, I rephrased with a slap on her booty. Quickly standing from the mattress, I head into the bathroom, discarding the used condom in the trash before looking in the mirror. The usual gloating ego I'm missing from my post-sex glow. Instead, stress is evident on my face, because I liked that way more than I should have. I told you. I always like it, doesn't, but that felt like I just had a hit of something I'm going to continually need in order to curb my quickly growing addiction. The way she can keep up with me, both in bed and with words. But I thought I entered the chase, but now I think I may have started a whole other game that I'm never going to win. Did that kiss merge with my brain instead of hers? And why do I want to cuddle up next to her soft body before round 2? Round 2! No! Heading back into the main room, I promptly plop my naked self onto the bed next to her, but before I can pull her body into mine, she slips off the mattress and ducks into the bathroom, which is fine. She'll be back in a second. No, she's getting ready to dip. Stevie's glowing bronze body comes strutting out from the bathroom a couple of minutes later, and I fully expect her to come right back to bed with me. Every chick tries it, but this is the first time I actually want someone to hang around and relax with me while I get ready for another round. But instead of coming to me, she heads back to the couch, finding her discarded clothes on the floor. Leaning up on my elbows, my bare naked frame on full display, I furrow my brows while watching her redress. What are you doing? Stevie slips her legs into her jeans, rebuttoning the waistband, which is the exact opposite of what I want her to do. Getting dressed. Why? A small laugh escapes her as she reclasts her bra, taking away my perfect view, because I can't exactly get into my Uber naked now, can I? Why are you leaving? I restate my question. You can stay here. What? We said this was a one-time thing, Stevie notes, thankfully ignoring the last part of my statement as she pulls her shirt over her head. I was thinking more like a one-night thing with multiple orgasms packed in there. Look, Xanders, that was fun. Stevie ties up her dirty-ass nights. But you're my client, I work for you, so that probably wasn't the best idea. I've spent this entire season so far trying to remind Stevie that she works for me, and now she decides to get it through her head, right when I want her to forget about it. See you tomorrow, she turns towards the door. Jumping off the bed, I cut my to-do-do, unable to throw any clothes on while I chase her out the door. Wait, I yell, following her into the hallway. At least let me take an Uber with you, it's 2 a.m. Damn, he's upset! Stevie continues down the hall towards the elevator. Xanders, I'm a big girl, I can handle getting back to my hotel. She steps into the elevator, pressing the button for the lobby. I awkwardly run to catch up with her, all while trying to cover my cuckoo with my hand. I have large hands, but I have a giant do-do, and my version of covering it means it's practically flailing around. Stepping into the threshold of the elevator, I hold open the metal door with my free arm. At least send me a message when you get back so I know you made it okay. Stevie eyed my naked frame, a knowing smirk rising on her lips as I desperately stand there needing something, anything from her. He sounds desperate, bro, and I love it. I'll be fine. I swear to God, Stevie, I will scream your name so budging loud right now. Every single one of my teammates will know you're here if you don't. Okay, she cuts me off. I'll send you a message when I get back to my hotel. I eye her a moment, trying to figure out what the hell went wrong in the time I made her from all over my to-do to now, but I can't read her. I really want to lean down and kiss her goodbye, but she seems hell-bent on getting away. I'm used to her running away from me, but I thought after tonight maybe she'd stop. He's so contradictory right now. Stepping my bare booty just a foot back, I let the elevator doors close with the wild flight attendant inside, but right before the metal doors close completely, I watch as Stevie leans her head back on the wall, regret covering her features. What the fuck just happened? Once she's gone, the realisation hits me that I'm butt-ass naked and I just ran out of my hotel room without a key, allowing the door to close behind me. Poop. I've never chased someone trying to leave my room. Typically I'm getting dressed and begging them to go. Glancing around the empty halls, I start my walk of shame to my best friend's room across the hall from mine. Knocking doesn't do the trick, so I pound on the door with my free hand, needing to wake him up. What the fudge? Madison swings the door open, his mop of hair dishevelled and his eyes barely open, laced with sleep. Oh my God, he laughs, looking me up and down. This is too fudging good. I need to use your phone to call the front desk. I locked myself out of my room. Wait right there. Madison turns back to his room, barely able to walk due to the hysterical laughter overtaking him. The boys are going to need to see this. He holds his cell phone up, snapping a picture of me in the hallway as I cut my do-do and flip him the bird with my other hand. Fudge you, I mutter, letting myself in his room. god. I wish I could say that I was shocked, but I knew this would happen, and I thought potentially it would be like, oh, like one of them wants to do it again and then the other one, and if one of them was going to want to do it again, I did think it would be Xander's because he's obsessed with her. And I think the reason why my girl Stevie is regretful is obviously because like it's a whole like, oh my god, she's putting her job on the line, she shouldn't have done it, but yada yada yada. But it's also because she really enjoyed it, she really liked it, so she's like mad at herself and she's like regretting it because she's like, I want to do it again, I'm so dumb. I just hope I have some time to recover. I hope it's not within the span of this video because I don't think that I can take it anymore, guys. I'm being honest, okay? You think it's so easy, sat on the other side just reading along like, oh, she's overreacting. No! You try and do this, it's very vulnerable. I feel very vulnerable. Chapter 18, Stevie. Last night was a huge mistake, and by huge I mean huge, pun intended. And not because of the excuse I gave Xanders about him being my client or whatever bull poop I was spewing, but because he was right. He may have ruined every other man for me from here on out. I think he may have even ruined my vibrator from here on out too, and that's just a damn crime. When I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror last night, that's when it hit me. That was the best I've ever had. It blew every other one of my experiences out of the water. For the first time maybe ever, there wasn't a single self-conscious thought. Xander's constant praise took care of that. We had a wild unspoken connection I didn't expect and frankly didn't want. And that's the problem. It was supposed to be one and done, but all I wanted was to get back in that bed and do it over and over again until I couldn't think straight. But I couldn't get attached to him or his award-winning do-do-do. He's everything I wanted to avoid since college. Arrogant, egotistical athlete with beautiful women lining up for a turn. And I made the mistake of jumping into that line, unable to hold my ground against him. He's just looking for his next lay, but I've got to say, the boy knows what he's doing between the sheets. You totally got laid last night, Indy teases. You lit up like a fudging glow stick, Miss Shay. I did not. I tried to keep my voice hushed. We're in the back of the airplane and the boys are trying to sleep on our overnight flight back to Chicago. You totally did, she giggles. Was it a Tinder boy? Turning away from Indy, I mindlessly start cleaning the spotless countertops in the back galley. I did not get laid last night. You didn't? That deep velvety voice doesn't belong to my co-worker. No, it belongs to the stunning man who absolutely failed me last night. What is he doing? He should be asleep getting rest, and instead he's eavesdropping because he has to see his woman again. I've avoided walking the aisle for more than one reason on this flight. One being I didn't want to see Xanders and have every explicit detail of last night flood my mind. And the second being he was right. I have a stupid because of his stupid blood. Looking over my shoulder, Xanders leans against the partition separating the galley from the rest of the plane, a cocky little smirk playing at his perfectly full lips. A-hole. You're lipping a bit, Stevie. Did you roll your ankle or something? I hate him. Oh my god, Indy says much too loudly. Oh my god. I love her. Her head is on a swivel. Looking back and forth between Xanders and me, her cheeks flushing a lovely shade of rose. You two finally. She whispers as quietly as possible before her big mouth hangs open. No, I exclaim louder than I meant to. No, we did not. Xanders, being the arrogant man he is, doesn't deny anything. Instead, he stays silent and shrugs his shoulders nonchalantly. Nice work, and his statement isn't directed at me. No, it's at Xanders, which I love. Do you guys have a pillow I could snag? Rio pops his head into the galley over Xanders' shoulders, asking Indy and me. Rio, get it yourself, man. Xanders motions towards one of the overhead bins where the pillows are stored, which is ironic, seeing as Xanders has never once gotten himself a single thing on that damn airplane. I can get it for you, Indy offers. Thanks, Indy. Rio's green eyes sparkle when he says her name. He runs a hand through his curly black hair, pushing it out of the way, and is he flexing as he does it? Indy steps around Xanders, leaving the security of our galley and leaving me alone with the man I've been trying to avoid all flight. You didn't send me a message last night. He ducks into the galley, getting in my space. My eyes quickly dart up the aisle, checking for Tara's whereabouts, but she seems plenty busy flirting with the coaching staff up front. Why didn't you send me a message that you got back to your hotel? He takes another step closer, his chest only inches from mine. I crane my neck upwards. I didn't think you were that serious about it. Are you fucking kidding me? I was up all night checking my Instagram waiting to hear from you. Well, here I am. I know I'm being a brat right now, but I'm trying to distance myself from everything I felt last night, and I don't know how to do that other than to pretend to be unattached. I fully expected Xander's to be the same, so his genuine concern is a little shocking. What the hell happened last night? He whispers. I thought we had fun. We did. And when it was over, I left. Xander's hazel eyes bore into me with confusion. I'm not trying to make him feel bad, but I need to protect myself here. He got what he wanted, as did I. He'll be on to someone new tomorrow. Hell, he might even be on to someone new as soon as we land around 2 a.m. Do you regret it? His question is soft and low. A bit of sadness laced in his tone. Ah, fudge. When does this man who was ugly and screwily senseless last night look like a sad puppy dog right now? I kind of want to hug the giant defenseman. He seems more vulnerable than he intended to be. I'm sorry if we did something you didn't want. I didn't mean... Oh my god, this little baby! No, I cut him off, shaking my head. No, I don't regret it. It's a lie, but not for the reasons he's thinking. A relieved sigh escapes him as he reaches up with his index finger, delicately moving a single curl from the front of my eyes. He loves doing that. Are you pooping me? Xander's hand retreats quicker when you'd believe as both of our heads snap to Madison standing in the threshold between the galley and the rest of the plane, his large frame blocking us from anyone else's view. You're the girl from last night. Madison's tone is hushed, his brown eyes wide, pleading for me to say no, but I don't. Stevie, I had faith in you, he whines. Go sit the fudge down, Xander's adds. He ain't poop, huh? Madison continues, I've heard he's got a tiny doo-doo-doo and has no idea what to do with it. Terrible in bed. Fudge you, Xander spits, but there's a laugh that follows it. I can't help but giggle, knowing his teammates had probably seen what he's packing in the locker room, the same as I saw it last night. Tiny is the exact opposite of what's going on between his legs. Stevie, I'm disappointed. I'm going to need you to keep giving him poop regardless of this. Madison motions between Xander's and me, because it's quite literally my only entertainment on this fudging plane. With that, he turns to walk back to his seat, leaving his best friend and me alone once again. So you don't regret last night? Xander doesn't waste a second before asking again, concern evident on his face. I don't regret it, but it shouldn't happen again. I was thinking quite the opposite. I was thinking it should happen again, like every single time we're on the... We can't, Xander. I'll get fired if anyone finds out about last night. The blondie already knows. Let me rephrase that. I will get fired if that one finds out. I motion towards the front of the plane. The bitchy one, you're worried about her? Sweetheart, I can keep a secret. What happened to the whole I don't lie thing? Cocking my brows, I hold his eyes, teasing him. His hands grip my hips, His hands grip my hip, fingers curling, pulling me into him. His assertive touch ignites my whole body, but I push the fire down, needing to extinguish it. This lie would be worth it. He wets his lower lip before pulling it between his teeth, his gaze locked on my mouth. Swallowing hard, I take a large step back. Well, as large as I can manage in this tiny galley. Xander's hands fall from my hip as I pin my arms across my chest, needing to use them as a makeshift barrier. It was a one-time thing. Xander shakes his head, not buying it. It was a one-time thing until it's not. He turns to head back to his seat, leaving me alone in the galley, but before he goes, he quickly looks back, his eyes raking down my body, taking in every inch. Because one time sure as hell wasn't enough for me, and I don't think it was for you either. I squeeze my thighs together, my face flushed with the memory of last night. Oh, and I'll take sparkling water. Rolling my eyes, I can tell him for the thousandth time. It's in the cooler! Extra lime, Stevie sweetheart. Xander's overly smoked face wears a satisfied smile as he saunters his way back to his seat. Chapter 9. Stevie. Rosie girl, when are we going to get you adopted? Of course the question is rhetorical, seeing as Rosie is a beautiful black and tan 5-year-old Doberman who can't answer me. I give her one more scratch behind the ears before locking up her crate for the night as Rosie's big body curls upon the fleece blanket I thrifted for her last week. She's plenty comfortable in her crate, which makes sense. She's lived here for an entire year already. I've only lived in Chicago for a few months, but from what Cheryl, the shelter owner, told me, I'm Rosie's favourite. Most people think she's scary from the outside, but Rosie is a sweet softie on the inside, with plenty of love to give, as long as it's for the right person. Either Xander is going to adopt Rosie, or he's going to adopt Rosie for Stevie something. But Rosie's coming home with her at some point. You really should take that sweet girl home with you. Cheryl stands behind me as I stay sitting in front of Rosie's crate, watching her fall asleep. If only I could. Twin brother is still allergic. I think I'd trade the brother for the dog. I contemplate it sometimes, I tease. I can close up for you tonight. Cheryl brushes me off. Stevie, you're 26 years old and it's a Saturday night. I'm sure you have better things to do than hang out here with an old lady and some old dogs. Cheryl may be a 60-something-year-old widow, but there's nothing old about her. She's still got a total pep in her step and works insane hours at the shelter, and that's because she loves this place and these dogs, and so do I. Senior Dogs of Chicago is a non-profit that Cheryl and her late husband founded, rescuing dogs from kill shelters or taking in abandoned pups that families had the audacity to give up once their family pet got too old for them. Don't get me started on it. I don't cry too often, but it happens every single time an older dog gets dropped off by its owner for some god-awful excuse or another. How do you not choose the one who has loved you unconditionally? The building has started to get run down ever since Cheryl's husband passed away, and unfortunately most people still choose to buy puppies over adopting an older animal. The donations are slim to none, barely keeping the doors open and keeping food in the dogs' bowls. My brother Ryan is our biggest donator, and I think that's because he feels guilty I can't bring any of them home. I'd spend all my time here if I could, but unfortunately it doesn't pay the bills. Not that I have many, I don't even pay rent, but when I do move out I need to keep my paying job to make ends meet. Seriously, Stevie, go have fun. Cheryl takes a seat at the front desk, slides her glasses up her nose and begins to organise the pile of bills I'm afraid she doesn't have enough money to cover. Do I tell Cheryl that my version of fun is putting on my softest pair of sweatpants and curling onto the couch to watch movies, seeing as Ryan is playing in a road series and Indy is on a date with her boyfriend? No, I keep that little fact to myself. I let her think she's living vicariously through me, but to be honest, Cheryl probably has a more exciting life than I do. I think this night's going to take a turn. Or does she? Because it was just a week ago that I was having the best night of my life with the most notorious jerk in the NHL. See you tomorrow. I give Cheryl a quick wave before ducking out of the shelter for the night. Pulling out my phone for the quick walk back to the apartment, I checked the score from the Raptors game. They had a rare afternoon start time, and I'd become oddly invested in hockey since I started flying the team around less than 2 months ago. The headline that pops up first is winning score of 4-2 against Anaheim. The second headline has Xander's face plastered below it with a stunning woman beside him walking out of the arena together. But it's not real, sis. I know you don't know that, but I wish I could tell you. This is Chicago's 4th game since we've been back in town, and this is the 4th woman he's been pictured with. No surprise there. I knew what I signed up for when I reached out that night in DC, and I wouldn't say I'm necessarily jealous over it. Okay, that's a lie. I am jealous, but only because I cannot stop thinking about that night. It was so good and so needed, and I was right. My brain hasn't done poop for me since. Xander's words have been ringing in my mind all week, because one time sure as hell wasn't enough for me. I don't think it's enough for me either, but that doesn't change that it can't happen again, and there's no way in hell I can be in his road hookup. I don't know why he'd even suggest it. The guy has women clambering over him in every city we visit, and that clearly includes the one we live in too. More headlines go on about Xander's and the fight he got in this afternoon during the game, the fine he has to pay for hitting the opponent a little too hard and a little too dirty, and even more about the reputation he wears as a badge of honour, the reputation I can't stand. Shoving my phone in my bag, I ride the elevator up to my apartment in silence. Well, silence minus the piano keys serenading the metal box. I'm sure Ryan's neighbours have questioned if I actually live here on more than one occasion when I come in wearing my baggy flannels and not so white sneakers, covered in dog hair with my hair in a big curly bun. When I make it home, I find an envelope hanging on Ryan's front door with our house number printed on the outside. I remove the tape, unlock the door and throw my keys on the console table inside. Slipping off my shoes, I take a seat at the kitchen island and open the envelope. There's a few fun-sized pieces of candy, all individually wrapped, as well as a letter inside. Hey neighbour, we have a 3-year-old daughter who didn't get to have Halloween with her dad because he was on a work trip. We're planning to make up for it tonight by going door to door trick-or-treating. If you're willing to participate and make our daughter's night, please leave your front door light on and we'll come by between 6 and 7 p.m. If not, no worries, we hope you enjoyed the candy instead. From your neighbours, the Madisons! Oh my gosh, she's gonna meet the Madisons! Well, the wife and the kids and whatnot. Well, that might be the most precious thing I've ever heard. We flew from Philly to Buffalo the night of Halloween, so I know exactly the work trip this note refers to. Part of me wants to turn off the outside light because, as far as I know, Madison doesn't know I live in this building, and maybe I could keep him from finding out who my brother is for a bit longer. But most of me wants to make sure his daughter has a good Halloween with plenty of stops to trick or treat. I spend the next hour or so on the couch, mindlessly scrolling for something to watch when I hear a small knock. Quickly hopping off the sofa, I grab the candy from the envelope and open the front door. The cutest little girl with bright emerald eyes and wild brunette hair stands on the other side, a pumpkin-shaped basket in her hand. Wait, he's going to be there dressed as Elsa! I forgot! Oh my gosh, she's gonna see him! Her puffy yellow dress tells me exactly who she is, and the rose embroidered on her satin gloves confirms it. Trick or treat, you must be Belle. I bent down to make myself eye level with her, watching as the deep-set dimples in her cheeks sink even further into her porcelain skin with a smile. Stevie, my head snaps up at Madison's voice, finding a hallway of full-grown adults primarily dressed as Disney princesses. You live here? Madison asked with genuine curiosity, though he's wearing a light blue dress with puffy sleeves styled with a black choker necklace, so I have a hard time not just laughing in response. Stevie, the woman dressed like Ariel, turns to ask him. Judging by the red hair and the pictures I've seen online, it's his wife, Logan. Like, she puts her hand out as if they were the wings of an airplane, and Madison wiggles his brow suggestively, nodding in confirmation. Oh, I see, Logan adds with a knowing smile and an even more understanding tone. Clearly Madison told her about Xanders and me. Speaking of the 6'5" defenseman, all eyes shoot to the back of the group where a huge man with black ink tats and gold jewellery stands wearing an icy blue sparkly dress and a long blonde braided wig. Hey, Xanders grins, his eyes locked on mine. I try to hold back my laughter, I really do, but this man who is known to be the city's biggest playboy and probably has more enemies than fans is wearing what's supposed to be a floor-length dress, though it hits just below his knees. But he's doing it on a Saturday night in the middle of November to make sure his best friend's daughter has a good Halloween, and that sweet act is the last thing I expected from the notoriously hated hockey player. Have you lived here the whole time? Madison's question pulled me back to reality, realising that I was right. Xanders didn't tell him that I was his neighbour. I moved in at the end of August. Logan turns back to Xanders. That's why you never use the penthouse elevator anymore. Look, Xander's eyes are wide, his voice stern in warning, trying to stop his best friend's wife before she completely throws him under the bus. Madison wraps both arms around his wife's shoulders from behind, the two of them utterly amused, laughing with each other at their friend's expense. So, you're Belle. I return my attention to the sweet girl who the night's really about. I'm really Ella. Ella? That's a beautiful name. You didn't want to be Cinderella. You made your dad be her instead. Ella starts giggling at my question. No, she shakes her head, proudly pointing at her chest. Belle is smartest, like me. Ah, I give an understanding laugh. Well, I think you made the right choice. I put my hand around my mouth, whispering, Belle is my favourite anyway. What about Elsa? A deep voice asked from the back of the group. When I look up at Xanders, he shrugs his shoulders as if he isn't being a little desperate for attention right now. Playfully rolling my eyes, I return my focus to Ella, taking the candy her parents provided and adding it into her already very full basket. Well, Ella, I hope you have so much fun with your family tonight. Her little hand motions me closer. She puts the satin-gloved hand up to my ear, cupping her lips. I like your hair, she whispers. I make the exact same motion back to her. I like your hair too. What do you say, baby? Madison pipes up. Thank you, Ella waves from taking off down the hall towards the next apartment door. A shorter man dressed like the chick from Brave follows closely behind, but judging by the ginger's brown he's rocking, the curly red wig isn't too far off from his natural hair colour. Next is a tan guy dressed like Jasmine, midriff showing and all, who is carrying a newborn baby, Madison's son I'm assuming, followed by a teeny tiny girl in a snow-white costume complete with a pair of black Doc Martens. Madison rests his chin on his wife's head, looking like a needy little puppy as the two of them linger by my door with Xanders. She's cute. I watch Ella's brunette hair bounce along with her excited strides. She's 3 going on 13, but we're big fans of hers regardless. I'm Logan, by the way. She reaches her hand out to shake mine, a kind smile on her lips. I hope the boys aren't making your job too hard. Not this one, I motion to the man hanging to her. This one, on the other hand, is a bit of a diva. Turning towards Xanders, my voice is laced with humour, even though the statement is extremely true. I'm not that bad, Xander whines. Yeah, he can be a real pain in the ass. Low. But we love him anyway. Logan shoots Xanders her sweetest smile before turning back to me. It was so great to meet you. You too. See you, Stevie, Madison tosses out before walking away with his wife tucked under his arm. Xander somewhat sheepishly steps up to my front door once all of his friends are out of earshot and down the hall. You following me, I tease. He knowingly shrugs his shoulders. Hey, a small smile plays at his full lips. Hey, my eyes right down his body, unable to hold back their amusement. Sexy as fudge, I know. That's one way to describe your dress. I knew you were pretty, but I didn't know you were this pretty. And that gash really sells the look. I motioned towards the cut on his right cheek, which I'm assuming he earned during his game today. I told him to keep it away from the moneymaker, but you should see the other guy. Xander stands straighter, smugly running a hand down the sparkly blue fabric covering his chest. He messed with the wrong ice queen. A laugh heaves in my chest as I cock my head to the side. How did you get stuck with Elsa? All your other friends at least look like their characters. You don't think the blonde wig works with my skin tone? Xanders chuckles as I raised a single brow in answer. Ella picked our costumes, said that people think Elsa is mean the way people think I'm mean, but that we're actually both really nice. He holds his hands up in defence. Her words, not mine. The more I get to know the Chicago defenseman, the more I think Ella might be right. She really is the smartest. I see you're walking better these days. Rolling my eyes, I don't honour his statement with a response. Instead, I try to cover my blushing cheeks by sticking the end of my hoodie string in my mouth and locking my eyes on the ground. And we still haven't thrown out those disgusting sweatpants I see. Mouth gaping in mock offence, my head snaps up to look at him. If you're so concerned with my loungewear, you can buy me new ones. Don't tempt me. Don't worry, they'll be coming off soon. I'm about to get in the shower. Sanders at Hazel Eyes, hood over. Are you really trying to turn me on when I'm wearing an effing dress, sweetheart? Everything turns you on. You turn me on. Swallowing hard, I pull my gaze from his. How have you been? Sanders' question is soft and completely sincere, taking me by surprise. Good. My brows furrowing confusion as to why he cares. Good. That's great even. His words come out flustered, and I've never seen this confident man so flustered before. Looking him up and down, it makes me wonder why the headlines never cover this part of his life. What would the buzz be if people knew Chicago's playboy was spending his Saturday night in a dress that his best friend's daughter picked for him? And that little thought makes me wonder what else they're not publishing in news articles about him. He did say he pays his PR team a pretty penny to push the narrative he wants, which clearly isn't the version of him. But why not? You can see my apartment from here, snapping out my trance. I follow Xander's line of sight behind me to the large windows encasing my apartment. Right there, the top floor. His voice is soft, his mouth close to my ear. Bending down, he points out the back window to the tall building across the street. You live across the street. I can see his entire apartment from here, and holy hell, it's nice. Now you know where to find me when you're ready for a repeat of last weekend. There's that sultry voice I'm used to. His tone drips with... How is that even possible? Turning back to face him, Sanders doesn't move, his lips sinfully close to my own. His stare bounces between my mouth and my eyes, and does mine, before I step away, creating some space between us. Somehow, even wearing a sparkly dress and a platinum wig, he can still turn me on. Stupid award-winning do-do-do. Seems like you've been plenty occupied this week, I retort, needing to put some walls back up, but I don't know why the hell I would say that. Sanders loves his reputation. Me rubbing it in his face makes me sound like a jealous petty jerk. Instead of wearing the gloat I'd assume he'd have, his face falls surprisingly. Don't believe everything you see on the internet, stupid girl. A moment of awkward silence lingers between us before my lips lift an apologetic smile. Disappointment covers his face as he turns away from my door, needing to meet up with his friends. See you around, he shoots me a half grin, but there isn't much joy behind it. More so sadness, reminding me that I'm a complete jerk. You're not a jerk, girl. You're confused because he is confusing. He's confusing. But there's definitely going to be some point in this book where they're going to be pictured together and his PR team isn't going to be able to keep it hidden. And she's going to like lose her job. There's going to be something. I can feel it in the air. Anyway, chapter 20, Sanders. You boys are looking good this season. Leaning back on the brown leather couch, I lace my hands behind my head. It feels like we finally have all the right pieces in place to make a real run at it. Eli's game-winning goal last night, Eddie, our mutual therapist, begins. Boy, that was pretty. Yeah, he made sure to show me the replay more than a few times over drinks last night. Madison always plays better at home than on the road, so it's no surprise he's leading the league in points after our 2-week homestand. But Eddie knows Madison as well as I know my best friend, so there's no need to spell it out. He's always on top of his game when his family is in the arena. I, on the other hand, thrive on the hate from visiting stadiums. I've become accustomed to being my own support system in every aspect of my life, hockey included. Not for long, sweetie. How are you feeling about Christmas? That question causes me to pause. I've tried to avoid thinking about the dreaded family holiday, but of course Eddie was going to ask. He's been my therapist for almost a decade now. Our weekly sessions are typically just a conversation between two friends, but Eddie being Eddie always knows when to find the root of something deeper going on. And him knowing every single sordid detail of my family history, it's no surprise he brought this up with Christmas around the corner. But I made a promise to him and myself 8 years ago that I would be nothing but honest in our sessions. Brutal honesty has translated into every aspect of my life, and I've got to say, it's incredibly freeing. It's what helped me to overcome a lot of the inner demons I was battling when I was younger. I'm dreading it. I don't even know what we'll talk about. Lindsay won't be there to act as a buffer, and I wish I could have bailed and made up some excuse instead. This could be a good chance for you and your dad to talk, Z. He's clearly making an effort by visiting you. That's what Logan said. Yeah, well, Eddie laughs. Logan should probably rethink her career and join my field. Since we were in college, Madison and I have shared the same therapist, and Eddie has jokingly offered to pay half his salary to Logan for keeping our heads on straight when we aren't in his office. What's holding you back from having an honest conversation with your dad? You do a great job at it with everyone else in your life. I'm not angry at everyone else in my life. Why are you angry with your dad? Eddie, you know why. Remind me, his favourite tactic. He knows exactly why and doesn't need recapping. He just wants to see if I remember why. Because he abandoned me the same way my mother did, at the same fudging time. He buried himself in work and I was left alone with no one. Have you ever asked him why he did that? I don't need to ask him. I know why. He didn't love me enough to be a dad I needed. Eddie inhales a deep and Eddie inhales in Eddie inhales Eddie's inhale is deep and resigned. What do you think, since the two of you will be alone this weekend? You ask him about what happened in those last years of high school. Quickly shaking my head, I tell him no. I don't care anymore. I've distanced myself from the situation and I love myself enough that I don't need his love or anyone else's for that matter. Eddie's head falls back against the grey headrest of his chair. For the love of God, please tell me that after 8 years of us working together, you realise that's not true. Silence overtakes the pristine counselling office that's been my safe haven for years now. Do you not think you're worthy of love? Eddie pushes his rimless glasses up the bridge of his nose, his ankles slung over the opposite knee, and his hands folded together. If you opened up your dictionary to the word therapist, I'm pretty sure you'd find a picture of Eddie in his fudging sweater vest. Clearly, I'm avoiding his question. Do you not think you're loved? He rephrases. I think a few people love me. Madison, Logan, my sister. But I don't know if anyone else would love me if they saw the real me. Who is the real you? Again, Eddie knows this answer. Rolling my eyes, I remind him. Someone who cares about his best friends. Someone who is mentally strong because I've worked hard for that. Someone who only gets in fights on the ice because I'm protecting my people. Someone who actually spends more time being an uncle than I spend with all the women people think I'm with. Eddie continues to nod, all the while scribbling notes on his pad of paper, just as he has for the last 8 years. Someone who's afraid to lose the image portrayed for him because people love that guy. I don't know if they'll love the real guy, and I don't know if I'm willing to find out. You've always been my most honest client, Z, but you've been lying to the entire world about who you are. For someone who never lies, that's a pretty big one. Eddie, I awkwardly laugh. It's Wednesday morning. Getting pretty heavy for a Wednesday morning. It's therapy, what did you expect? Of course he won't let me deflect with humour. He knows me better than that. Do you want to be loved? Damn, he's sitting with all the hard questions today. I haven't had enough caffeine for this. Hell, I haven't had enough whiskey for this. I think I took that option off the table for myself a long time ago. Z, you're 28. You could be 38. You could be 88 and still change directions. Do you want to be loved? Silence. Do you want to be loved? Outside street noises fill the quiet office as I stay mute. Z, do you want to be loved? Yes, fudge! Throwing my head back on the couch behind me, I close my eyes, scrubbing my palms over my jawline. Eddie isn't a typical therapist, at least not to me. He's kind of like a life coach at this stage in our relationship, and it's real effing annoying. But the truth is I do want to be loved, and that's scary to admit. It's a lot easier to say you don't want to be loved when no one loves you. Do you want to be loved for who you are or for what people think you are? For me. Then why haven't you let anyone know who it is? Because I'm scared. And there it is. The root of it all. I'm fudging terrified for my fans or anyone else to see the real me. The persona I've worn for the last 7 years in the league has signed my massive checks. I'm afraid to lose it. I'm afraid to lose my contract. I'm afraid to be released by the team and city where my best friends live. My own parents didn't love the real me enough to stick around. Why would I expect anyone else to? Being vulnerable and authentic is scary, man. Terrifying. But to the people who matter to you, the ones you've shown your true self to, they love you unconditionally. Why not let others love you unconditionally too? At least give them a chance to. Damn, my chest feels tight, and not like a panic attack tight, but like that hit me like a ton of bricks, and I know he's right kind of tight. You're right. God, that feels good to hear. Eddie wears a satisfied smile, smug. The bastard. How about this week you work on being your authentic, vulnerable self with someone who only knows the media's version of Ez and not the real Z? Maybe your dad. Not my dad. Okay, Eddie puts his hands up in surrender. But someone. Someone who thinks they know the real you but has no clue. Show them who you really are. And if they don't like the real me, Eddie ponders a moment, then I'll double my donation to Active Minds and I'll donate 4 sessions a week to your kids instead of just the 2 I planned. Deal, I say quicker than he could take his words back. If being vulnerable with someone gives me a chance to add 4 more weekly sessions to the quickly growing hours we've gathered from doctors and therapists around the city, then I will. The clock on the far wall reads 10 after the hour. We went over again. Eddie shrugs his shoulders. You can afford it. Standing, we hug each other. As I said before, we've been doing this poop for 8 years. Eddie is an integral part of my life and a real friend. He's family, which is why he called me by the name of the most important people in my life use, and not by the one my parents gave me. You're coming to the gala next month, right? Eddie walks me to the office door, opening it. Of course, I couldn't be prouder of you and Eli. I remember when you two were just a couple of arrogant little poops in college. Now look at you. Now we're 2 arrogant grown-ass men. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Black tie, I remind Eddie, pointing an accusing finger at him. The black tie dress code was my idea, but fudge it, I love having an excuse to dress up, not to mention I look fine as hell rocking a tux. I'll send you the bill for that too. The small cafe below Eddie's office is my typical stop on a Wednesday morning. After our sessions, I'm always drained. I grab my usual black coffee with 2 sugars and continue the short walk back to my apartment complex. The late November chill hits me as soon as I walk outside, so I pull my beanie lower to cover my ears. The streets of downtown Chicago are bustling with bodies, needing to get from point A to B, and thankfully, with the combination of keeping my head down and then being too busy to notice, I go unrecognised. Turning the corner 2 blocks from my place, I stop in my tracks, causing the traffic of people to have to move around my body as I take up plenty of space on the sidewalk. And I'm rooted in place because just ahead, there's a head full of chestnut curls, though today they're thrown in a bun with a yellow bandana wrapped around them. Stevie is sitting on the chilly cement curb, knees to her chest and head in her hands. The amount of space that girl has been occupying in my head lately is a bit concerning. What I thought was going to be a one-night stand has turned me into endlessly hoping for a repeat round. But over the last few weeks and the few short trips we've had since I saw her on delayed Halloween, Stevie has kept her distance. It's annoying. Even from a block away, I can see her back slightly vibrate before she looks up and frantically wipes her cheek. No, I don't do crying. Correction, I don't do chicks crying, especially ones that I've been with before. Comforting as to the intimacy factor I'd like to stay away from, but apparently no one told my feet that, because without realising it, they'd carried me right to the sad flight attendant sitting on the curb. Stevie's head is buried back in her arms, not knowing I'm standing next to her as I eye the ground in contemplation. My pants cost more than some people's weekly salary, but here I am sitting my bum on a disgusting curb in the middle of disgusting downtown Chicago. You following me? I nudging my shoulders into hers. I hope the humour will dissipate whatever the hell is going on right now. It doesn't. Stevie looks up from her folded arms, her blue-green eyes rimmed in red. Her freckled nose is swollen and pink, and the sadness she's wearing couldn't be more obvious. Oh gosh, she turns away from me, using the sleeve of her oversized flannel to wipe her nose and cheeks. You should go. I don't need you to see this. Are you okay? Yep, she inhales a deep breath, trying to compose herself, her face still turned from me, totally fine. Well, thank God, because how embarrassing would that be for you if I caught you crying on a curb? Bringing my coffee to my lips, I hide my smile as she turns back to look at me, the two of us sharing a laugh, and her laugh sounds nice, a lot better than the sniffing she was trying to hide. This time it's my knee nudging into hers. What's going on? She readjusts a tiny gold hoop in her nose that got messed up when wiping it on her shirt sleeve. A dog died. Your dog, my heart drops a bit for her. No, she shakes her head, throwing a thumb over her shoulder. Craning my neck around and upward, I read the sign on the rundown building behind us. SDOC, Senior Dogs of Chicago. I volunteer here and one of our dogs died. He was 12 and it was time, but it makes me sad that he was here and not at home with someone who loved him. Oh fudge, this isn't good. Stevie's nickname is ironic because she's never shown a sweet side to her, not once. And now sitting on this curb, she decided to tell me she's actually a total sweetheart. I don't know if I'm ready for that to be true. Well, did you love him? Of course, but it's not the same. He deserved his own home with a warm bed and an owner who loved him. They just want someone to love unconditionally, but instead they're stuck here. Unconditional love. What's going on with the universe today? And those two words are being thrown my way twice before noon. Have you ever been in love? Stevie's eyes are wide and curious, her question completely sincere. Suddenly my chest feels tight and words have evaded me because the topic of love should not be up for discussion with the last chick I had sex with. Not that kind of love. Stevie playfully rolls her eyes. We all know you're already in love with me. There she is, a bit more of a wild energy takes over, the sadness leaving from the air around us. Come on, Armani. She stands from the curb, holding her hand out to mine. You're going to fall in love today. These pants are Tomforde, sweetheart. I put my hand in hers, letting her believe she's helping me up, but she's not doing poop as I stand from the curb on my own. Well, they could be from Walmart for all I care. It doesn't matter the brand name. They're about to be covered in dog hair. Typically, they'd be a hell no for me, but instead I find myself wearing too big of a smile and following the curly-haired girl into the rundown building behind us. The small entry is bright and cheerful, each wall a different colour, but you almost can't see the paint due to the countless Polaroids overtaking the wall. New owners with their new dogs smile as big as could be, reminding you of the happy times this building has seen. A large desk sits at the end of the entryway, and when I turn the corner, my eyes widen in shock. The next room over is littered with dogs, some big, some small, some sprawled out on the countertop, countless dog beds, others being playful with each other. But the thing I notice most of all is the way Stevie lights up when she opens the small gate separating the entryway from the pups. When she steps inside, her smile overtakes her face as a handful of old dogs come right to her, sniffing and licking, tails wagging. They clearly love her as much as she loves them. You okay? An old woman stands on the far side of the room. When Stevie nods, the lady shoots her a half smile before taking off behind the door, leaving us alone. Come on, fancy pants. Stevie opens the gate for me. They aren't going to bite. Them biting me is not what I'm worried about. I'm a big and commanding guy. Most dogs fear me, not the other way around. What am I worried about is seeing this sweet side to Stevie. I'm not sure if I'm ready to know this part of her exists. I've already too distracted by her body that I can't get enough of, not to mention her smart ass mouth. I don't know that I could handle finding her soul attractive too. Setting my coffee down on the front desk, I enter the large room full of dogs. The space is bright and electric, with all different coloured rugs covering the floor. Big pillows are thrown about, and even more dog beds are positioned around the room. The far wall is lined with crates where a couple of pups have decided to chill, regardless of their crate doors being open for them to come out and play. A few dogs rush me, sniffing my legs and shoes, not as many as the numbers surrounding Stevie right now, but still more than I assumed. I thought they'd be intimidated by my commanding presence, but it seems like they're just excited to have a visitor. That's Bagel, Stevie motions to the beagle sniffing my Louis Vuittons. Bagel the beagle, genius. He got here last month, but he already has a new home. Stevie's voice drips with excitement and pride. He gets picked up tomorrow. Plopping herself on one of the plush four pillows, she sits cross-legged as dogs rush her face, licking and sniffing, tails moving at a mile a minute. She doesn't shoo them away. Instead, she embraces all their love and gives it right back to them in form of belly rubs and scratches behind their ears. Once they've settled from the commotion, most of the pups leave, going back to whatever they were doing before we walked in. Stevie turns my way, lifting a questioning brow when she notices me standing still by the gate before she motions to the ground. F it, this entire outfit is either going to need to be thrown out or dry cleaned anyway. Stevie's second-hand flannels and baggy jeans are making a whole lot more sense right about now. I take a seat across from her with enough room between us that I can stretch out my long legs. A couple of dogs sniff my ears and head, but they're unbothered by my presence for the most part. So, looking around the brightly coloured room, what is this place? A small white dog finds its way onto Stevie's lap, curling up between her legs. This place is a rescue shelter for senior dogs. Well, it's for all dogs really, but we advertise for senior dogs because they're usually not chosen first and we want them to be. How often do you come here? Whenever you guys are playing at home, I try to come here as much as possible when we aren't travelling. Looking up from the dog she's snuggling, she shoots me her most genuine smile. Her freckled cheeks aren't as flush as they were when she was crying outside, and her blue-green eyes are much more bright and clear. To be honest, in the couple of months I've known her, I've never seen her this happy. She sure as hell doesn't look this excited to be on the airplane with us. Why do you work here full time? Why don't you work here full time? You clearly love it. And why am I suggesting that? As much as I wanted her off the plane 2 months ago, I can't imagine travelling without her to drive me insane in more ways than one. Because unfortunately adulthood costs money and they can't afford to pay me here. They can barely afford to keep the doors open. I tried to avoid lingering my stare on the cracks forming on the walls or the water spots in the corner of the ceiling, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't notice them. Not to mention the baseboards that could use a fresh coat of paint or the squeaky hinges on the front door that should probably be replaced. Not enough adoptions going on. We survive off donations. Our adoptions don't cost much because we don't want to deter people from adopting, but even so I don't think many people know this little building is even here, or if they do it seems like they'd still rather buy a puppy than bring an older pup home. A big yellow lab mix comes over, licking my ear. It's pretty gross, but instead of wiping it away, I scratch his wiry hair under his collar, pulling the content grown from the big guy. That's Gus, Cheryl, the woman who was in here earlier. She's the owner of the shelter and that's her dog. He's a big guy. He's a lazy guy, Stevie laughs. How many do you have at home? Her pretty smile falls slightly. None. My brother, the one I live with, he's allergic. Well, that's a shame. I figured the only reason you keep wearing those disgusting sweatpants is because you're at home cuddling with dogs all day. Ha ha. Stevie's forced laugh is followed by a small, genuine one. A cute giggle draws the attention of a black and tan Doberman who was sleeping in their crate. The giant dog, which admittedly looks a bit scary even to me, exits their crate, pulling a deep stretch, ass in the air. The Doberman's pointy ears and piercing eyes fixate right on me, and I'm not going to lie for a moment, it looks aggressive as hell, like it wants to bite my head off, and I'm not sure being on the ground face level is the best idea. Stevie follows my line of sight. That's Rosie, don't let her fool you, she's the sweetest thing in the world. She just looks intimidating, but she's not, she's a marshmallow. Rosie takes 2 small steps, her head slightly surveying the room, and I'm her favourite. Stevie opens her arms for Rosie to come greet her. Instead of going to her, Rosie takes a few slow, intimidating strides towards... Strides towards me! She walks straight between my open legs. Her yellow-brown eyes are determined and focused, staying lasers at my own. I don't care what Stevie said about her not being intimidating. Rosie is intimidating. That is until she falls onto my lap, burying her head into my thigh before flipping over onto her back, legs failing in the air, asking for belly rubs. I can't help but laugh as both my hands massage her belly. You're her favourite, huh? I hate you. Rosie's big head turns to look up at me. Her intimidation tactically wholly gone. She looks a little in love and I think I might be too. How long has she been here? Almost a year. Last Christmas she was dropped off when her owners had a baby and they decided to give Rosie up. Said they were worried about her being around kids, which is total bullcrap. She would never hurt a fly. Snaking my arm under her, I wrap Rosie up like a baby. She uses my bicep as a pillow while I give her scratches until she eventually falls asleep. Big Softy, her previous owners are a-holes. She is a marshmallow. She's kind of like you, Stevie notes, pulling my attention back to the curly-haired flight attendant. You're pretty soft on the inside too, Mr. Sanders. Please, I'm scary as fudge. Sure thing, Elsa. Looking back at the giant Doberman sleeping in my arms, I can't help but wonder who the hell wouldn't want this dog, and why the fudge she's at a shelter. She's perfect. Hey, Sanders, That's what it feels like to be loved. My God. I can't lie, guys. I'm flipping exhausted. A lot happened in those. I mean, we just read 10 chapters. So of course a lot happened, but they obviously spent more time together, as we know. Yes. Very good. Very happy with that. 10 out of 10. Loved it. Glad that we did get a bit of a break from it. You know, sometimes with these books, once they start, they don't stop. So I was a bit scared for that because it's just a lot. I'm realising to read it out loud, it's a lot. But anyway, a lovely sweet chapter to end it on. Him obviously going to therapy, and I think the person he's going to obviously open up to is going to be Stevie. And he's definitely getting Rosie the dog. And I can't wait. Oh my God, and Christmas is coming up. So maybe Stevie will... No, he needs to pay because she needs to adopt for like money. So I don't think that she'd buy the dog for him, maybe. But maybe as a Christmas present for himself, he'll get Rosie. But Rosie's coming home with him. Yeah, which will then make Stevie want to see Rosie because it's her favourite dog more. So then she'll go over to his apartment and spend more time with him, and then they'll fall in love. Yes, yes. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about this series, if you've read it before, if it's your 10 millionth time rereading this series with me. I'm really enjoying it. People were scaring me when they said that it's the worst book, but then somebody in the comments of my last video said, no, it's still a good book, and I agree. So if I'm enjoying this book and everybody's saying that this is the worst book, then it means that all the other books are just like 10 times better. That sounds good to me. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.